Hello everyone, how you all doing? I hope you're ready for some good old VCS action because we've got a lot of it coming your way. We're going to be kicking off today with our first best of three, Luxury Esports taking on SBTC. I'm Milky Cyril and I am joined in my commentary booth analyst desk. Who knows? It's a screen and there's two other wonderful people alongside me, Marby, Crincy. Marby, I'll head to you first, actually, for this one. Luxury against SBTC. Who are you looking out for?
Um, I guess we almost have to sort of look out. Just give the shout out to Vin Boyce that we have to look out for because hasn't played yet in the split. He's a replacing celebrity who has been sort of the shining light for the side of SBTC. Can he step up? Can he bring this team together? Can he make it work? We last saw him in the promotion tournament under the Burst the Sky banner, and he looked serviceable. He wasn't really the reason they made it in. He was just kind of good enough. He felt like a step down from Big Caro and definitely was it was definitely a huge step up from him. So from what little I've seen of him, it's not so impressive, but a lot's changed since then.
Harsh words coming in from Marby. Crincy, what's your take on this upcoming series?
I also have to go with some harsh words, I guess, because SPTC hasn't really shown anything in the first series in a positive way. I mean, they had this one draft where they had like 3 losing lanes, and Xinjiao against Grace, which was not really doing a favor to them at all. And the other draft, it was okay. I dare say it was overall okay. But Team Secret still kind of wiped the floor with them. And Team Secret, while I still like them, while you still like them, Milky, I think we can agree that they are not really like the top dog of the league or anything close to that. So SBTC definitely had some homework to do, and I hope they did so for today. Like some silver linings are, of course, there. Like DNK, you can't really judge him because he didn't really have much to work with. But other than like Celebrity and Palette in game 2, who had a decent laning phase and got some lead on their own, I think there wasn't really much of a silver lining for the team at all. And Luxury on the other side, of course, had a decent showing so far.
Now, I feel like you guys are, all focusing on SBTC, and maybe it's because I used to be known as the president of the Luxury fan club. You don't want to offend me, and I fully appreciate that. I respect that decision. But don't worry, guys. I'm now president of the Eddie fan club, so you can lay into Luxury because week 1 was a mix, right? They beat Burst Sky 2-0. They looked really clean in doing so. Then they went against Saigon Buffalo, and that's where the weaknesses started to show, Marby.
Yeah, we saw a bit of a split between the bit of an inconsistency out of Luxury. That's what they're called. They're doing all right. They still have that big sort of top side strength. Like Killer Queen in particular, he can completely run the map, and the new support in CBL has sort of elevated the spot lane to be quite a comfortable force to reckon with. It didn't sort of work out against SGB, but they are very they have a very high, they have very low lows to SGB, so it can sort of go either way. And Luxury feels very much the same. If the top side never got rolling, the bot lane wouldn't be able to really pick up the slack. But I think that's improved somewhat. So they should not really have that big, glaring, obvious weakness that can be exploited by SBTC.
Actually, to follow up on this and then to throw back to you, Quincy, talking about this bottom lane for Luxury, I think I fully agree with Marby, especially when you look back to the winter split from just a few months ago. Vit was arguably one of the question marks. CBL, though, brought in to pair alongside him from Team Secret. And this bottom lane has looked very good so far this split. When you consider the win-loss record, 3 wins and 2 losses in terms of game, still, Vit up in CS in every single laning phase, which I think is relatively impressive, considering that there are those 2 losses that he had against the Saigon Buffalo bottom lane, which had Shogun, who is a pretty good ADC.
Definitely so, and I think maybe we kind of were a bit too mean to Vit last winter split, where we were kind of like trashing onto him and his then support, who were like the glaring weakness of the team, a very obvious weakness. We then called them, and maybe still will do, but with CBL being in, him having a better support, maybe he was just in support prison all along, and it's actually a very strong AD carry. I mean, you just said it, laning phases won every time so far, and I dare also say that the loss against Second Buffalo, that was a really winnable series for them overall. I mean, they didn't really get wiped by them at all, and I think that Luxury fixing like some issues out of that they had, like maybe Coated, he only had like one tank game, I remember, and that was a very awful Gragas performance. They definitely need to fix those kind of things, especially if they want to play more towards their bot lane, which now seems to be stronger. Then I think Luxury can be at least a contender for like the top 3 spots of the league.
Marby, I want to touch on one point, which is heading towards the support role, and I want to talk about Palette because I don't know why, but I always have a tendency to want to talk about Palette because he was part of that Team Flash roster that won the VCS a couple of years ago. What is going wrong for Palette? Are you seeing any moments that makes you think maybe there is a hope we get to see the Palette of old returning to the VCS?
We saw a decent start in that game too against Team Secret, where the bot lane seemed to be going relatively well for them, but I haven't seen sort of that big star that we haven't seen a Feng Vu Buffalo Palette for a long time. We haven't seen that superstar best support in the league coming out from him for a couple of years now. He wasn't that great in the spring 21 either, so I don't know. I feel perhaps his time is simply up. Maybe he just is not in the right environment. He's moved out of Flash, so this was kind of an opportunity for him to revitalize himself and put the blame on that environment in the Flash house. But he hasn't stepped up. He hasn't been able to link up very well with Celebrity or DNK. So not working on with those former low-key members, and yeah, he may just be past his time.
And Quincy, to look more towards SPTC, but now not towards the bottom lane, I will actually want to look towards the jungle because it is Spot who will be playing over DNK. If you could compare these two junglers, if they do have a different playstyle and what they bring differently to SBTC, what can Spot give for SBTC that DNK can't?
That's a very good question, actually, because we really haven't seen much from Spot in a long time. And then the one game he played, he wasn't really able to show anything either because he was just basically farming, and then they kind of lost the game. So it really is a good question what he has to bring differently than DNK, because DNK and Spot both are the new signings for SPTC, so they definitely didn't just sign DNK just to bench him, is what I would assume. So I'm kind of needing to dodge this question almost because I haven't really seen anything that was reminding me on a positive note for Spot. I think what I can maybe say is that he just didn't go for ganks where he was basically just selling his team out or just demanding resources he didn't need to have. But other than that, I think with Spot, I think they just feel more confident. But him playing over DNK is not something that I really want to see, because with DNK, at least know from past split that he really has shown up, at least to some extent, for Team Secret back then.
I mean, in fairness, Quincy, I did throw you a complete curveball because Spot's only played one game, so there's very little for you to really go off. I just wanted to see you squirm, dig deep, try to find some analytical points. Now, one thing that I do want to touch on with SBTC is the fact that this team, it's a broken shell of what it was, if what it was before could even be called a shell. They've got a few scraps members from teams that were struggling, Palette from Team Flash being one of them. The other one is Enper. He was on this SBTC roster in winter, arguably worse than Hero, but he stayed on SBTC. He's playing in that top lane as well, partnering with Simon, but I believe it is Enper who will be playing top, at least for game one of this series, Marby.
Yeah, I gotta respect the shift in attitude from SBTC as they sort of entered the league with these big name signings of all these old veteran names. You had Zeros, you had you had DO1. That roster completely fell apart for various reasons. So they tried it again with Hero, Artifact, all these other names. That also failed. So now they're leaning a little bit heavier onto sort of the rookies. They're leaning into Enper, they're leaning on 2T and the solo lanes. They do have that. They are still running this sort of core of veterans to try and lift up these young guns. It's not working, but it's not necessarily the rookies' fault so far. Like they're not standing up to the greats of the league, but it's not like their veterans are lifting them up either.
And with that, we are heading into picks and bans. The one champion that, or the one player I should say, that I've avoided talking about has been Killer Queen. This man is a monster for Luxury. He dictates the flow of the game and arguably the best jungler in the league alongside Levi. We've seen how good his Lee Sin has been as well, Quincy, and I'm wondering if SBTC want to ban it away.
I hope so, because his Lee Sin was just absolutely insane every game he played so far. He's basically just making Sonic Wave a targeted ability, is what we said the other day when he was in fact playing. But the other thing that maybe is a tricky one here is, can you really ban Lee Sin in the first rotation? It's just a jungler that basically anyone should be able to play. They could theoretically first pick it, but would you really want to first pick Lee Sin? Yeah, Luxury just now gave me the answer they really want to do. The thing though is, otherwise his Viego was also very good, so Killer Queen just in general is a very strong jungler, so you really are up in arms. It's just like maybe a very tough comparison, but it's just like dropping 2 bans to Faker when you know you can play 20 champions to perfect level. You don't really get anything from just leaving that one ban, basically.
I feel almost the opposite before we talk about SBTC, simply because Killer Queen has played 4 games of Lee Sin so far. This will be his 5th. He's pretty much only played this champion, except that one game on Viego. So it might be worth looking to sort of hit the champion pool that he's shown, because what he played a lot of in Spring aren't top tier junglers anymore. They're not super viable across the board. So maybe force him to show something new, try and push him onto, say, a Jarvan or something along those lines. But as is, bot lanes are being locked in. Very strong blind pick for Emperor in the top lane, provided he bans Tryndamere, because every time I've seen Tryndamere into Graves just is better off disconnecting. And Coded seems like a Graves player. Sorry, a Tryndamere player.
Now, I want to touch on an ADC that's been picked up, and that is the Jhin, because Vit played a lot of Jhin in the winter split, much to many of our analysts' dismay, but it is locked in for the first time for Vit as well in this split, Quincy.
It is, and I really now want Luxury to kind of redeem themselves if we win this Jhin pick, because I also am not too fond of the Jhin, especially if they really want to play around the bot lane. I now just want them to play very strong top side, where really Killer Queen plays around, because you also maybe are prone to kind of exposing the Wookiee in 2T, or maybe even trying to expose Emperor, who hasn't really had a great showing against Hero versus Team Secret beforehand, so maybe that's like where their focus will lay on. Otherwise, I really don't want them to try and target the bot lane too much with the Sin, and the Jhin Leonas and CC would maybe welcome a little bit, but I want a distinct strong side on the top side of the map for Luxury, really justify it. With Jackson Camille taking out, it's not as easy for them, but as Marby hinted earlier, Tryndamere might be a good option for Coded.
I don't mind Jhin so much on a team like Luxury, where your AD carry is sort of the tertiary person to look towards. He's not really meant to lead the charge, be that brunt of the carry force. And Coated and Blazers should be that most of the time for Luxury, and Jhin, I think, fits there. That's Shine H3.
That's Shine H3, yeah, indeed. So Bit is actually out, and so is CBL. So we just don't praise this bot lane maybe once too much, and they are just not even playing for now. Maybe I also just want to give SBTC a chance and play a side where maybe Winboys and Spot are feeling a little bit more confident to play against. But jokes aside, Tryndamere Akali, that's what I wanted to see. That's champions you can play around on the other side of the map and half away from the Jhin lane, which should be a good weak side on their own regard.
I'm going to apologize for inting the pair of you with the Vit CBL, but actually, Marby, do you think this is a case of SBTC essentially saying, hey, we're going to play with the Vin boys, we're going to bring in Spot, and Luxury saying, hey, this is a good chance for us to, bring in our subs, give them some game time?
So, I don't necessarily mind bringing the H3 on the basis of generally we sort of think of him maybe as a bit more of a enchanter player than CBL, but they went and banned away 2 enchanters themselves. Shine, I just think you should never play over Vit, unless Vit has like broken his wrist or something. So unless something like that's happened behind the scenes, Shine is just always a bad idea. H3, I can see stylistically if that's what you will want him to set up, but it clearly isn't. So Luxury want to play with a handicap is all I can really say.
I mean, that's maybe a bit too harsh. I mean, we have seen Shine in the third place decider match against Versus Sky, where of course he didn't look as good as Vit, but he didn't look completely awful, I dare say. So maybe they just are like feeling against SPTC, we likely win anyway. So just give him another chance. See what would Shine do if he would need to play an important game, and maybe
Why is
here
that
on.
Vit?
Now suddenly on the overlay it's actually Vit instead of Shine, so I'm really refraining from judging too harshly anyway. And speaking of the draft overall, though, I think the Akali blind pick is a bit ballsy, but the Wise as a counter, I'm not too fond of Wise in general. I think against Akali it does decently, but I'm not too fond of Wise in general, so I'm not really favoring anything from SPTC in this draft.
Right, we don't have much time. Very quickly, Marby, your prediction. Quincy, your prediction. One word.
Tryndamere running over this game.
Quincy.
Luxury.
All right. Well, with that, Carrick's your way. Our wonderful casters for the game. Take us away.
It's been a tumultuous day in League of Legends your way, but here in Vietnam, we do our own thing. The church never had any power here after all. Luxury's brought in these rookies. I'm a little bit surprised to see it. What do you think of this decision your way?
Well, they're not rookies, to be fair, right? Shine and H3, we have seen them before. Maybe not the... Subs is the correct way to phrase it, though we have seen H3 be a starter and actually start last week in one of the games as well. I agree with the sentiment that he's probably more of the enchanter player, because CBL is known for his hooks and not for anything else, for valid reasons in both ways. So a little bit confusing to see H3 on Leona, but Leona is a stable. Everyone has to be able to play Leona. It's like Alistar in the VCS. If you can't play Leona and Alistar, you will not be able to be a starter in this league. So I'm more confused about the ADC position. I think the supports are both decent players. Shine to me is more of a strong side player, which confuses me when you have a Tryndamere and an Akali is your...
Okay.
That was interesting. Just a little bit of a time warp again.
In time. All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, to finish the point,
we get more time to talk.
usually Shine is more of a strong side player compared to Vit, who's able to absorb pressure. So maybe this indicates a little bit more pressure or a little bit more focus put onto the bot lane. You can play... maybe not weak side, but ignore the Tryndamere in top lane. Just let him do his thing, let him scale up, let him farm. And the same is true for Akali mid lane. So I expect Killer Queen to actually be pathing towards bot side a little bit later, because he started bot, so he's not going to come immediately. But I expect him to be there at 4 or 5 minutes.
It's a fair point. I'm about to say something that makes me kind of hate myself, but it's still true. I'm actually kind of excited to see what Coded can do on Tryndamere. Now, I've never said that I'm excited for a Tryndamere ever. I hate this champion. If I could delete one champion from the game, it would be Tryndamere. Yuumi, you do get to survive for another day. But I hate Tryndamere. But I am excited to see how they play around Coded on. I think Coded on Tryndamere is an interesting champion player pair.
Oh yeah, I agree. Coded is a very hit or miss, very volatile player. Feast or Famine to the extreme, and his Jax, an auto-attacking champion, like Tryndamere maybe, but no time for that. Killer Queen is here for his first impact.
He
Never
certainly
mind.
is, but 2T reads it perfectly. He gets that phase rush proc, runs down, and there's no chance for Killer Queen. They blunt the first gank.
And this is actually quite bad for Killer Queen, because now he is shown on the map, which means bot knows bot side is safe to invade, to get the scuttle, to even maybe impact the bot lane. So now the map is basically split, at least for Luxury. And SE has a little bit of the impetus on their side. They can decide where to go, if they want to fight in the jungle, if they want to avoid the clash in the jungle, because they know the whereabouts of Killer Queen. So this first gang actually backfiring more than you would initially think, just looking at the screen, because, I mean, he just walked away, right? But Spot now with a little bit of an experience advantage. Shine, okay. Aggressive roam to Spot.
Yeah, they do find him, but he does use the gas getaway. There was a scuffle up on the top side. Both top laners burnt their ghost. Interesting just to note that Graves has brought the ghost.
Yeah, we've seen this adaptation a lot,
yeah. So he doesn't get just completely run down by Tryndamere. Not 100% sure what happened up there, but it just ended up in a trade. Nothing too remarkable, except it has led to a bit of a CS lead already being built up for Coded.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen from what I've seen in this matchup. So usually it's Graves favored early, and then Tryndamere tries to take over the longer the game goes. The ghost on Graves, oh, no time for that. The second attempt.
Yep, they're going to go again. The E lands. 2T has no chance. High comes in as the cheerleader squad, but first blood for Luxury.
And that was some APM coming in from Blazes there, because he was spamming those emotes. That was some quick emote game out of Blazes. I think he spent more time actually fiddling with his emotes than actually hitting anything. Though he played this situation quite well. The E is perfect, he slows down 2T, flashes too late. Just textbook play. But look at that, 2 emotes. I think one might even be connected to his spell there. It was so quick. But yeah, so far from Luxury, I'm very impressed with their bot lane. This is the sub bot lane, because not only are they winning the 2v2, even though they're behind in experience right now, they need to be careful. All in is dangerous, level 3 against level 4. But I really like their move to go out of lane and use the vision plant to spot on the bot side, because that gave Killer Queen all the information that the enemy team had from the earlier gank. So when I talked about the earlier gank and the vision advantage for SE, immediately the bot lane from Luxury adapted, went to the vision plant and actually spotted Spot on the other side. I hate his name for that. But yeah, that's a super cool play. And just...
You just gotta get your thesaurus out. Locate Spot. That's
true.
Yeah. What does Germany call Where's Wally? Or the equivalent.
Oh no.
Oh, now to come back to it, as this is going to be a badly timed engage there by H3. They had no idea that Spot was there. They did not locate him. But he just diffuses the play. The flash from Leona will get them to safety.
Leona. This champion is always so cursed. Every time she goes in, she just overextends. But she actually gets away with her life, which is quite nice, because they are able to sustain their lane positioning. You can see, okay, this is super aggressive. This hook would have been death for H3, but fortunately he gets away again. And now Luxury is still in an advantageous position in the bot lane, able to crash the wave. So, oh, Blazes, be careful.
Yeah, don't be careful, you say. Killer Queen just flies in, just ward hops back out though. 75 gold, just used to demand some respect. Worth, of course.
Also, Killer Queen's Q accuracy still holding up. I haven't seen him miss a Q. It's so impressive. This, I actually want to talk about him a little bit more on this Lee Sin, because usually if you talk about Vietnamese Lee Sins, you think about SOFM and you think about Levi. But Killer Queen, this new jungler, he has really put his name on the table as well. He is so insanely good at this champion, and the first pick was debated among our analysts, but I thought, okay, this is clearly Killer Queen first picking Lee Sin, because he's so insanely good on this champion. Or not. Oh god, I cursed him. Oh no. Oh no. I mean, he hit all his spells, to be fair. He did not miss a spell, as I'm not sure if Carrick is still here. Hello?
Oh, wow. I accidentally tapped my my mic. Good job, Carrick. Sorry about that. The caster curse was... What I was saying was the evil warlock of your way did strike, as Killer Queen goes down. My bad. Let's have a look at how this one happened. He does, in fact, hit all his spells.
Yeah, So, he didn't see Palette, I think is my read of the play. So he thought he had a free kill on 2T, and it would have been a free kill, because he had flash available. But then Palette was there, and Nautilus is very annoying to deal with because he can just auto-attack you and then you're locked under tower. So very good roam, very good adaptation from Palette to be there in time to protect 2T for the potential gank. Just reading the play from Killer Queen, reading his mind maybe a little bit. And yeah, Killer Queen hits everything in terms of mechanics and still goes down. The kill goes over to 2T as well, who's gotten out of this laning phase with a little bit of an advantage for himself. So everything going pretty well for SPTC. The worst early game team in the league, minus 3 point something K at 15 minutes. And yes, we still have a little bit of time for 15 minutes, so don't want to curse them with that. But so far, looking way better than we expect them to.
Yeah, and that's, it is 8 minutes. It's actually coming up on 9. And Luxury are the only team seemingly interested in the Herald. Their SE is going to play the other side of the Shelly bargain, as Jinx is already hitting the tower. There's a response coming in here from Luxury, but who do you actually think comes out on top here, your way?
Always depends on the ensuing Rift Herald placement, but they don't have any chip damage on towers, so this Rift Herald is really only 300 gold, so I think my initial reaction would definitely be SE. They get the Dragon and Platings funneled into Jinx, and also deny a lot of experience and CS from the enemy bot lane. Very good positioning there from Palette. Again, great game so far from him to really put a lot of pressure on Shine, and H3 left the lane. Shine couldn't go stay under tower because Palette was too threatening there. So really liking what I'm seeing so far from Palette. We know his potential is very high. We also know his recent performances haven't been the greatest, so it's always good to see these players step up again.
Very true. Someone I want to see get involved sooner rather than later is Blazers on this Akali. Has access to the perfect execution already. I want to see him linking up with Killer Queen, moving into a side lane or trying to catch out Spot. Because I feel like if you just try and scale against a Rise, it's a fool's errand.
Well, it's a very strong 1-3-1 setup, which is something you don't really associate with the VCS as a whole, but we have seen a lot of progression in terms of macro. Now, Luxury is not the team I would associate with that macro kind of play, as we have a clash in the top lane, Tryndamere going into ultimate.
Tryndamere, Keck W, moves on forward, still can press Q to get a nice heal, but we've got another fight. Ooh, he realm warps away, well done.
And that's ultimate blown from both sides. All the summoner spells down in top lane. It's a very volatile now. Spot as a free kill.
Oh, Coded's in trouble.
Yep. Oh, Coded wants to stack his bar for the Q. Oh, that's an early Q. I think he should be fine.
Raid, I think.
Yeah. The minion block. Wow, the minion block. Oh my god, Spot is fuming. That was disgusting. Spot was blocked the whole way. Okay. I mean, I think Coated read the situation very well and actually disengaged in time to not be under too much threat, because he was actually in kill range for Spot's ultimate plus auto attack there. So very nicely done from Coated. Gets back to the wave, collects the rest of the minions, and now is back to a healthy state. Oh, Spot is still here. Wow, Coated, really impressive read so far. Dealing with this situation on the weak side perfectly. And now Palette might be in trouble.
We've got some aftershocks going off. The earthquake's on the rift. The flash forward here from H3. They're going to try and go in onto Palette. One more shot will do it. Doesn't matter. Killer Queen brings down the boot.
Interesting flash. Now, very nicely done from Luxury. This was orchestrated from the whole team. Coated reading and dealing with the pressure on the top side perfectly, tanking all of the resources from SPTC, and Luxury using that opportunity to immediately strike on the other side of the map. Textbook play from them, and now 2T needs to be very careful. Oh, and the Q hits, of course.
Has to burn his flash.
Man, playing against Killer Queen's Lee Sin must be so stressful.
Yeah, I think it's a weird decision by Riot. I would love to talk to a Riot why it is that if you're Killer Queen, Lee Sin has point and click Qs. It's a weird decision. I don't know. How do you enable that? I'd like it for my Q not to be a skill shot.
He's Gore Drinker first item already finished for Killer Queen, so he's in a very strong position right now. We have first items trickling in. And of course, the VCS has also caught up to the meta in the top lane, so we do have Graves with the Hull Breaker.
Yo ho, fiddle-dee-dee, do what you want because a pirate is free.
Oh no.
Oh, but speaking of who's not free, it's Spot. I tell a lie, he gets away, he dives down into the seas and swims back to his ship, as Palette will be able to escort him out. The rest of Luxury arrive, but they aren't able to actually lock him down. Luxury,
Okay.
SE backing off. Well, Luxury, though, don't want to let them as they just fly directly on in. H3 already taking a lot of damage. This is a really bold move. They will pick up the first kill on
Good
the left. Now
flash.
Spot moving forward. Can he get the kill? He can. He gets the reset, uses the E. Can he get out of there? Oh my god, it's Viego, baby! It's Viego! As he gets a second
Shine
as
is
well.
here.
Big Boys now having to flash away, whipping in the rockets, but it doesn't matter because Shine arrives. But 2T comes in, he's overloading, the flux is spreading, and the Blue Man group's on tour as Rise picks up another.
What a messy fight. So many small mechanics actually going the way of SPTC. Perfect fight for them. I actually was so impressed with the micro execution for Luxury's players, especially Killer Queen as always, but also Blazes in the mid lane. Let's take another look and keep your eyes on the reset from Viego because that turned the whole fight. He gets down. This flash from Blazes is amazing to dodge the execution damage, but Spot is able to reset there and doesn't die. Gets another ult off. That's so much damage, so much time board for Vinboys to just auto-attack away. Good flash from him as well, and then it's just a little bit too much damage from SPTC. It's so hard for Luxury to actually move here. There's no maneuverability because they are in between the jungle and the towers, so they can't move in either direction. Very nicely done from both sides, actually. Super impressed with the fighting mechanics and just tiny things turning the fight in SPTC's favor. And speaking of SPTC's favor, 15 minutes in, 5 and 5 in kills, and they are sitting on an almost 2k gold lead.
I mean, the big thing here in Luxury, I think they want to try and have another go in the bot lane here. 2T this time doesn't have the moves as he will fall down.
Yeah, nicely done. Leona ulti doesn't have to connect if you have a Jhin, because you can just shoot the Leona ult in the general direction, then the Deadly Flourish will actually confirm the job. So very nicely done, another good kill, and this gives them Dragon, which kind of offsets the run of play and Luxury back in the game, but it's a super close affair.
This is a very, very close affair where we didn't expect one your way. I think we have Luxury pegged as pretty solidly a mid-tier team. Compared to SE, that we think is quite low tier, as coded, has to be a little bit careful around Enpa. But as you said, this is SE leading. Oh no, here we go. As Blazes is in trouble, the rocket comes in, dealing a lot of damage. Killer Queen over the wall, doing well, but gets hit by another Q. Can Spot find any lockdown? I don't think so.
Look at
Luxury
SPTC.
will be able to evacuate.
SPTC actually showing some good macro for a last place team, 0-4 on the league, but they immediately turn to the tower, actually focus on that objective, opening up the mid lane. Coated in no man's land, needs to run away, and SPTC now with a very easy path towards second Herald, and that could break the third outer tower. So SPTC on path to a perfect macro game, you could say. That's an easy objective. Coated just, yeah, with his amazing CC, but the flank is coming. Killer Queen. Never mind.
Oh, he hits the Q. This man, again, point and click. The Hex Gates are being used. Hate 3 is delivered, and in goes Coded, giving him the chopper to chop. Hasn't used that ultimate yet either, so they can still go under the tower if they want these last two. Now the Undying Rage comes out. He is going in. He is going out. He does get away as well. They're picking up these kills. They're still living under the enemy tower. It's now 2T trying to find his way out. Blazes doesn't want to give it to him. He burns him down. The Inferno rises, but the Inferno will be finally quenched.
And Luxury did not want to get away, let SPTC get away with that objective for free, just showing some hand stiff there. Aggressive play from Coated, Killer Queen and Blazes under the tower, but they actually get away with an advantage from this fight. Nicely done, especially Blazes showing some insanely aggressive tendencies in this game. Killer Queen we all know, but Coated just dreaded them. 1v3, and I'm confused. Why was 2T not able to protect Vinboys better? I guess he just arrived a little bit too late. Vinboys also...
Sorry, can I explain? Can I explain why that went wrong? Tryndamere Keck W. Tryndamere Keck W.
Okay. I expected as much. But Palette also trying to kill Coated on the other side, just dropping Ignite, immediately turning to the other side. Didn't really work out for them too well. I mean, they do get the kill on Blazes, but not before Blazes are able to execute someone on their side. So this game is getting more and more explosive because everyone in Luxury is just bloodthirsty to the nth degree because they're just running at the enemy backline. So we might end with a 60 kill game here. Prepare your throat because this one is far
60.
from over.
60. Oh, it's going to be a slow game. Okay, I guess. I am kind of sick, so I guess I'll take a slow game. This is the thing I want to. Obviously, we're praising Luxury due to how that last play went, and I think we're doing that quite rightly. But what I really liked there, or like in this game, I should say, is SE seems to have a pretty good grasp of where they should be on the map for what we consider a fairly bottom tier team. That's good to see because it's normally the biggest weakness of the VCS.
Yeah, I think they looked revitalized. They actually look like a competitive team, which is already more than we saw in week 1. And sure, C games are looking much better. If you look at C games in isolation, SBTC actually sitting on top of the standings there on their group. So maybe the C games have helped this team to actually find a way to communicate better with each other, to actually understand game states and understand what to do. Some fortuitous things definitely have happened here in this game to give them an advantage, but they're still ahead, even with 3 kills down, and their big carries are scaling up.
Sure is. The Gale Force has come in for Coded. This Tryndamere is, as we saw in that last fight, definitely quite the threat. The Hex Gate is there. Luxury are moving in. They find Spot. He breaks the heart to get away and does manage to live.
Okay, let's look at the timer for the Dragon. That's once again Luxury striking right before the Dragon spawns, and once again they find Spot. Now, Spot's ultimate has a relatively short cooldown, you can see it ticking down. I'm not sure if it's gonna be available in 30 seconds. He has to farm up some camps to get back to full HP, but this looks like Luxury is controlling the bot side river, so we are looking at the Dragon stacking now. Starting for Luxury. They missed one of the Dragons, I believe the first Dragon when they played towards topside. Yeah. But yeah, now the Dragon stacking is a real opportunity for them.
Paulette coming in, trying to play bodyguard for Vin Boys here, but there's no protecting this man. He has been well and truly caught out. He flashes over the wall. That's a bold use. Blazers answers in kind. They will take down the ADC, but now the teleport coming in for 2T. They're arriving up on this top side. The
okay, Enper?
But he doesn't want to follow it up. Look at Enper just bearing down on Shine. Can he actually catch him out? I think he can. He takes down the Jhin, and suddenly this is looking pretty good for SE. But Killer Queen goes in doing a lot, and Coded arrives. Tryndamere's here. He's got one big arm your way, but that's all he needs to chop down the chickens. As he's already picked up to a Realm Warp from 2T is good, not interrupted. He gets out.
And it's only the Jhin. It's not the Jinx on the other side. Killing the Jhin, it's nice, but there's still another AD carry. There's still a Tryndamere. There's still an Akali. Oh, Tryndamere, speaking of him.
He has been caught out. There's no ultimate. There was an ultimate. He just used it as in they go. Coded spins forward, wants to try and get Spot. Can't quite do it, but 2T will fall. Nice KS there, H3. We all saw that.
Very nicely done. But that's now potentially the Dragon for SE if they run there immediately. Doesn't seem like they've spotted this opportunity, so Killer Queen already on his way. So Shine, this starts with Vin Boys with a super aggressive move on Shine, and yeah, he almost kills him. Shine, ooh, if that hits, I think the fight goes in a whole different way. Because let's don't keep your eyes on Shine, I should say, because he's doesn't really do much in this fight, but he does tank a lot of resources. A lot of people are trying, overcommitting to kill Shine, even though he's not the biggest threat here. Yeah, there's the flash from Enper. Immediately everything is focused on Shine. And yeah, he goes down, but in the meantime, all the resources, all the ultimates are gone. So now Coded can go in for free, just auto-attack away on all the targets you can see. That's 2 kills over to the Tryndamere. That's another one over, I believe, yeah, H3 ended up with a kill. And we have another dive, of course we do.
VCS tradition, we come out of a replay, we go into a fight. Killer Queen's gone too deep, he's been taken down. And now SE are coming in on the backside. The Q lands from Spot, he throws himself forward, still has access to the reset Heartbreaker.
Coded!
H3 moves in. Is he actually going to use it? Oh no, Paulette, he's gone too far. The Jhin ultimate comes out. Blazers moving in, goes golden. Tryndamere with a double. And Jhin picks up the third. SE, they just go too far.
It's a team fighting Tryndamere. Where have we ever seen a team fighting Tryndamere? But he's succeeding because he's picking his targets and the time to go in so nicely. I think this player has definitely played some Katarina, because he's looking like a Katarina to me in this game, just waiting for his team to fail and get chunked down, and then he goes in from the other side. All the CC spells are out, so it's time for him to shine, to assassinate people, and he's just chomping away. Killer Queen, well, He's still hitting all the skill shots, but he's also dying under towers. This tower has been the thorn in his side, because he's died to this tower twice now. But yeah, look at Coated. He arrives late, and now there's nothing to stop him. One auto-take from Paulette is just not enough. He can just E constantly, get all the kills. And he's still tanking so many of the CC spells, so yeah, he is a menace in this game.
Yeah, he has already built up those Navori Keck blades as well, so he is even more threatening than he was before. Killer Queen moving forward. Finally, a Q misses.
Navori Keck blades is my favorite item now, I think.
Oh, hang on, we have a catch. Ooh, not a good kick there from Spot. From Killer Queen, rather, onto Spot, as that will actually allow SE to get away.
In the meantime, we have both, or two solo laners trying to farm away in the side lanes, and Luxury spot the Hullbreaker Graves in the bot lane, immediately go to the Baron. There's...
No TP as well.
He's walking up there, and the steal is maybe the only thing Spot can do. I like this from Blazes, trying to flank Spot, and here we go.
Yeah, they found their way in. They just used the Baron as the bait. They're just going to try and take the fight. Spot
Beautiful.
goes down for perfect execution, and Coded is running rampant. Gale forces forward. He has that Undying Rage. He's pressed it already. Kind of has to be careful now, as he won't be healing up too much more. Luxury, they've kind of botched this one a little bit, because now Enpa coming forward. Killer Queen with a big shield coming out of the Sterex Cage will keep him safe. Shine wants to keep this one going, as in goes the Q. Oh, might have been a little bit too far once again for Killer Queen, but no, he's okay. Blazers coming in from the back. Akali activated, goes into the Shroud, keeps themselves safe, gets a shield, and they're forcing SE off the map. They can't actually kill them, though. SE somehow get away.
But Luxury still get away with such a huge advantage in map positioning. Yes, they don't get an objective of the side, but they get more gold. They also stop the split push in the bot lane. Now they have time to put Coated into the bot lane again, so they reacted to the split push by forcing a fight. What an amazing flank from Blazes, completely shutting off Spot and any chance for SBTC to fight. Look at Blazes, he gets away with his ultimate, gets the execution, and now he's still there. He's still annoying. You still have to think about him. You can see 2T's indecisiveness because he saw the Akali walk away. Initially he wanted to deal with the Akali. Now Winboys is isolated for no reason whatsoever. Shine just assassinating the enemy ADC, and you can see SBTC too scattered around the battlefield, and this all came from great positioning from the solo lanes, especially Blazes. He's playing such a risky Akali game. He's not going for the tank build, but he's playing like a tank Akali, constantly flanking, constantly coming in from other sides, using his Shroud on 1 HP to get away from the spells. It's really impressive.
I feel like, while we have a moment of downtime, I want to try and get this in if we have a moment of downtime. I think there's a problem with going Hullbreaker Graves without a teleport, because we saw in that game, they see the Hullbreaker in the bottom lane and just go, okay, start Baron.
You can always look from it. Oh, maybe no time to look at it in detail, because they are at the Baron again, trying to force another fight.
Spot's been caught. He's in trouble. Good hook
Blazes.
there from Paulette. Stuffs the engagement. Hey, 3 Blazes. As you said, he's on the side. Can get this first kill onto Paulette anytime they want it. Killer Queen will be the one to take it. Coded has already burnt the ultimate, so they trade a support for a Tryndamere ult. That may well end up being worth.
And Luxury, I kind of like their moves, but also it's not really leading to much. Maybe they're just passing the time for the next dragon, because that's their main objective actually in this game, stacking the dragons. And here it is, 5 seconds away. SBTC still 4 players strong, no ultimate on Spot though, so they really need the first kill to happen without Spot's execution damage. Look at Coated, slowly walking back into the lane. He's level 16, so his ultimate is not on the longest cooldown ever. Also in a very quick blade, helping with that one. So in the end, it's the Dragon, the big prize for Luxury. 20 kills to 8. Considering it's 20 kills to 8, it's actually quite a close game here, because the composition for Luxury is hard to execute, but so far, the 2 solo laners in particular, and Killer Queen of course, are executing it beautifully.
They absolutely are. This is still a very close game. This gold lead, a 4K gold lead at 27 minutes, is largely negligible. The Dragons, though, might be end up what matters. Wow, sorry about that. I forgot how to talk for a moment. As we do have Hextech Soul Point secured for Luxury in 4.5 minutes. That one will come to a head. That is an incredibly strong Dragon Soul. After all, there's no way SE can just give that one up. And Luxury, 3rd time's the charm.
Potentially. So far they've done really well turning away from Baron in time. That's a very early ultimate from Vin Boys. Now that's out of the way. They have full vision control. Spot is under huge pressure with Blazes being there to zone him away. Blazes is a little bit low, so maybe Spot with an opportunity to kill Blazes. No, he spots him!
Yeah, the hook goes in. Blazes has to go over the wall. The Heartbreaker to follow. Blazes will actually get away. Now Spot needs to find a way to enter this fight because it's going well for SE. A big hit goes in onto Vin Boys. No one's actually going to take that Realm Warp as more and more members of Luxury fall away. Third time was the charm for SE.
Apparently, SE now needs to get this Baron, because if they just win the fight, that's not good enough. They need the Baron. Vin Boys completely messing up his kiting of the Red Bull. There's a Palette. What is going on?
It's a Palette moment. He's had to do it.
Look at the mana.
He's been playing too well. Vin Boys firing over the wall, trying to get this Baron down as fast as they can.
Oh no.
But it is here, and there it is. The first kill goes in on the spot, but it doesn't matter because Enpa secures it. The absolute hero of SE, and now he's fighting off two.
Boom.
There's a rocket to come in to help him out. He's going to get a second kill here, your way. Enpa's loaded the shotgun, and he's here to win.
He has finally decided to actually stay in a fight and use his auto attacks. Yes, Hullbreaker, not the greatest item in the team fight,
He's
but
the best champion in the game. I'm
Grace,
saying it.
he definitely looked super strong there, and actually getting 2 huge shutdowns, that should put him close to an IE if he wants to go for it. And why did this go so wrong for Luxury? So they are split, their focus is split, and Blazes loses the one we want to spot horribly. Look at that, Blazes out of the fight, Spot is still there, Killer Queen overextends once again, Coated is out of the fight, so just everyone dying instantly at the start of the fight. Very good grouping from SBTC, protecting their carries. This time no one can get past the front line and onto Vin Boys, so finally they're able to just use their close formation to fend off. This Ryze is super pesky to deal with as well for the two assassin-like champions on Luxury side, because he's so tanky, you don't want to hit him. Shine gets a free kill there, but it doesn't really matter. And look at Enper here. Great flash, bad flash from Coated on the other side, of course. And then Enper, he's too tanky. He actually gets the Hullbreaker bonus here, I believe, because no one is around. So this is actually a super tank Graves, stacking up the E with the Hullbreaker bonuses and Baron under his belt. And we can see him. He is so strong. And Coated is not a weak player. Coated is on 4 items or something.
Yeah, he just whips the collateral damage at him just to send a message. As this Graves is well and truly online, he is here to plunder the seas and to break the hulls of Luxury's armada. Or flotilla, rather, if we want to use correct terminology, as they bear down the mid lane. Take down that inner tower. Killer Queen lands a Q, but he's not going to follow it up. How does Luxury get themselves back into this game that felt so good for them?
Well, 1 minute to the dragon, and if for some reason they pick up the dragon, that's a pretty good start, I'd say, with the Hextech Soul being able to chase people down, especially for someone like the Tryndamere in the side lane. He's not going to get weakened, he's already on 3 items. I would really like for him to build some armor penetration, because maybe he's just not actually taking into consideration how much armor this Graves has. But if he wants to deal with the Graves in the side lane, just build some armor penetration. You're probably even on less HP, so maybe even the extra added bonus from that item can give you a little bit of extra damage. But yeah, I think you really should look into that one. But regardless, we are 23 seconds away. The push is on SBTC's side. They have full control of the river. Luxury needs to find a miracle to get there. They do have Hex Gates, and they do have a teleport ward for Blazes, if they choose to do so.
They also have a Tryndamere. And I've seen too many League of Legends games in my own games where a Tryndamere just solo wins the game by right-clicking on towers, as he is right now. Luxury, of course, have the option to just give this dragon up, and I think it's what they're going to go for. They're in the position to they're forcing SE to bring most of their team, but they're not actually going to contest the objective. They just give it up. They've got another 5 minutes towards Soul.
Killer Queen just tried to look for a kill in top lane, I believe, but very unsuccessfully so. And this is now just an outer, or inner tower, I should say, in top lane for the dragon. Not really worth it for Luxury. On the other side, they also didn't risk anything with this decision, so more gold funneled into the Tryndamere. To be fair, he doesn't really need it. He's 6-1. He's on 3 items already. So the gold is not super consequential. The dragon... Oh, wow, look at this item. He's going for the full teamfight build here, actually opting to go for the anti-crit item. Randoms into 280 carries, makes a lot of sense. I still think he needs some armor penetration, though, so I would really like to see him go for that as the last item here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But this is such a tense game now. The goal difference is completely negligible. There's no Baron on the map. We are 4 minutes away from another crack at Soul. And this is a strange game your way, because I'm about to say a sentence that no caster has ever said. The two most important players are the top laners.
Well, people are very split on which side of the map they actually want to look at. In the current state of League, I actually feel like we see a lot of games where any position is very important. In this case, yeah, the top lane is very strong, very important. We have seen both of them carry team fights already, which is even weirder to say about top laners. We also still have a Jinx in the backhand of SPTC. Maybe she's actually gonna be useful. 1 in 5 so far. Vinboys in his first game on VCS A. Not the debut you actually want to see. So far struggling a lot to deal with this super aggressive, very scrappy composition.
I want to just jump in and just say it's not his fault. He can't do anything when a Tryndamere runs at him. His team has not been peeling for him very well.
Yes and no. Yeah, some of the deaths have not been his fault. Some have. I think the death to Jhin in the mid lane was weird, and some of the others, maybe not the greatest positioning. Yeah, it's not a horrible game, I agree with that. It's definitely not like he's throwing the game away, but it's not a great performance either. So don't really see why you would play him over Celebrity, but we did see in this game very good improvement in the macro. Okay, that's a dive.
Fight. This could be a big one, as that is Leona ultimate onto 2, but it just doesn't matter because look who gets chunked out. It's Shine and Killer Queen immediately being forced back. The Rocket doesn't find anything, but Enpa is just too big on the front line.
Double flank.
The tower falls. Blazers encoded coming on in. The spin is here. Can they get the job done? Blazers will pick up the first. On the other side, the Jinx has gone down as well. Enpa is running forward. He just needs to get something done, but he can't. As Coded takes him down, the Shurikens go into spots back, and Luxury activate the flanks to win themselves a fight.
Did Luxury activate them or SPTC? What was this decision? Why would you funnel into mid lane with no protection whatsoever on the sides? You know how Blazers wants to play this game. You know Coated can come in from any side all the time. This was so over-aggressive. They tanked so much damage initially at the start of the fight, and now that's Baron. That's full control for Luxury again. Luckily, the Dragon is not... Oh no, if he dies...
Oh no. 2T gets caught out. He gets a big shield, but he has to be able to do some damage on the way back. He can't. A tower falls. The game will not end. Death timers are coming up just in time. But it's only a minute. Ooh, Blazers actually caught out. He's in a lot of trouble. This is a huge kill if they get it, and they will.
Yeah, that's quite...
He
does
can't
have
get the
teleport.
dragon on time.
He does have teleport
have
though,
TP.
so he's the one member that can die a little bit later. It will cost them a lot of control on the map. Both mid laners down. They do have Baron, so it should still be a better map spot for Luxury. But first, take a look at this horrible decision to fight on the tower. Look at how much damage they tank from the tower for no reason. And how did Vinboys die? This is one of the most important things in the fight. He dies to a Jhin bullet, I believe. He just walks too far. Then no one blocks the last one. No one blocks the last bullet! Oh, it's horrible. It's a disaster from the team fighting of SPDC. I think Enper maybe a little bit overzealous. No one can actually kill him, but the tower can. So finally Enper falls. And now we have the Dragon on the table, 20 seconds away. Blazes is 10 seconds away from respawning. He has the teleport. It's not super consequential that he died. And he did take the flash from Vinboys, so he's even more exposed now against 4 or 5 item assassins, against Killer Queen with pinpoint accuracy. So how does Vinboys even fight this fight?
I don't know, if I'm totally honest. He might just be adding a Jinx ult to this one. As the Dragon's just getting burst, Soul is secured. There's nothing that SE can do about it. They were too late. They weren't in position on time. And now they're just going to get caught out. The fight's going to happen. Vinboys will pick up a kill. 1 for 1 at the moment. Killer Queen going low. Has a GA, though. Blazers into the backside. Vinboys has to play it very, very safe around him. 2 for 2. As 2T now falls. Vinboys, you need to be a late game Jinx at this point. Spot moving in to peel him off.
Oh my god!
With a kill picked up, Vinboys is very quick. This is a bloodbath your way. Killer Queen still lurking. Vinboys has to walk away.
Actually, the traps from Shine are doing so much work in these fights. There was a trap that exploded half of Winboy's HP, and he was not able to chase further down some of the other targets. In the end, it's a fight, yes, and SBTC looks decent in the fight, but they lost what they came for. The Dragon Soul is secured, and that was a fight where Coated didn't activate his ultimate.
He's learning from the best. He's
Look at
doing
Coated.
perks.
Oh, Coated. Oh, Coated, you can't do that. And look at Blaze's 1v3 in the backline. He's able to kill Emperor. He's strong enough now to kill the strongest member on the other side. But yeah, how did Winboys get chunked? There's the... Look at this. This is half HP.
It's a trap.
Yeah, it's half HP from the trap. Shine very close to just 3-shotting the enemy ADC. Wow, it's such a hard game to play for Winboys. So I'm going to cut him some slack. Yeah, his performance isn't the greatest, but... yeah, his stats don't reflect how hard it is to play for him in these team fights. Just so much to keep in mind. He went for a super defensive build, which is concerning.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Hex Drinker. I think the GA is necessary.
Probably, yes.
But I'm not a huge fan of the Hex Drinker. I understand it. That's a very scary Akali, but you need to do some damage. Coded gets kicked away. Actually, sure. What knocked him back there? Maybe that was just a W and I misread it. Because, of course, he's the one with the kick.
And Code now actually went to finish his build with some healing reduction. So still no armor penetration. I'm not sure if he wins.
Why do we have a Chempunk Chainsword on Tryndamere? Mortal Reminder exists. Why do we have a Chempunk Chainsword? Coded, why are you inting to Boris?
Yeah, it's a curious decision. I was trying to... justify it in my mind, because with his passive he gets to 95% crit anyway, I guess? And this gives you more cooldown reduction and HP. It's a weird decision, but maybe he just values the other stats a little bit more. It's more teamfight focused once again, I'd say, because the other one is pure attack speed, pure offensive. This one actually gives you a little bit of defensive stats as well, so more the Bruiser style. But yeah, I agree, it's probably the wrong decision. Let's look at Blazes. Oh, doesn't dodge the hook, but he's a Kali.
He certainly is, and he's not done as he moves in onto 2T, has him marked with the E. Now 2T's got to run, the E times out. But look how terrifying this Akali.
Wait,
Blazes, calm down! Palette's been caught out, slowed by the Hex.
Oh, beautiful!
Can they even escape? No, they can't, and there's a knock-up on the 2T, deny the Realm Warp. This is just going to be the game ending here, your way, as the catch is good. They've picked up one. Now, Spot in that GA. Never mind, 2T turning around. He is a very big boy rise, and Vinboys has arrived as well. Whips out the zap, doesn't actually connect onto Blazes, though, who will be able to escape, and SE survive somewhere they should not have.
Oh, it's exquisite mechanical play. The hands are working today for Luxury. The brains, sometimes, but the hands are working in every single play. What a beautiful collapse, and so aggressive. I think Luxury is actually the most aggressive team in the whole league now. What happened here? Did Enper die? I think Enper might have died to the two of them, chasing him down.
Looks like it.
Shine with the aggressive flash forward. Not sure if Shine really had to flash there, but doesn't matter. On the other side, this was beautifully done. Killer Queen instantly committing absolutely everything, kicking both out of the Realm Warp and getting 2 kills for his team. Nothing really happened in terms of map positioning, as is always the case in the VCS. We're not fighting for map. For the map, we're not fighting for objectives.
We might have that 60 kill game.
Exactly.
It's on the table.
Close.
We might genuinely have a 60 kill game here, and I'm loving every minute of them. This is raw VCS. This is exactly what we signed up for. Luxury have a death bush set up. Baron is on the map. This could decide the game.
Spot is so important. He doesn't have the GA. If he walks up too quickly, he might just insta-die. There's so much damage on the enemy team. Yeah, the Baron is gone.
Try and
very good block there.
That?
I mean, it's a Baron. They will get the inhibitor, but it's 42 minutes. Who cares about the inhibitor? Tryndamere can just stand there AFK and do 2 shots the super minion. So the inhibitor does nothing. You can see Shine. Yeah, Shine can deal with those as well. So yeah, the inhibitor is just a very small price. Now, the Baron is a huge buff in the team fight.
It lands onto 2T.
Vin,
Does the
boys.
Leona ult. They're doing a lot of damage back, though, as Spot is trying to make it happen, but he goes low. He goes down your way. Blazers will fall on the other side. Vin, boys, I am watching you with an eagle eye. He's picked up one. No, never mind. He's not going to be able to do it. He goes into GA, but there are 4 on top of his corpse. Vin, boys, is in the bin, boys. And Luxury have finally conquered the chickens and will walk it down mid.
What a game to start the day. This was just amazing team fighting. Honestly, for a game to be this exciting in 43 minutes, both teams have to put in some performance, and I think SPTC, by far the best game of the split so far. We have to praise them as well. But in the end, Luxury's hands just outdid everything. Such a huge performance from all the players.
55 kills to start off our first game here on this delicious Sunday night. And oh boy, I could not be more excited that these two get to play potentially 2 more games, but at the very least 1 more. Because both of these teams are here to fight. They are here to scrap, and I'm loving every single minute of it. Do not go anywhere. You are going to want to see game 2 here on VCS English.
Welcome back, folks. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering, who is this beautiful person on your screen? It's Marby. I'm Milky. Quincy's also pretty beautiful as well. Luxury taking on SBTC, and game one was... Quincy, if you were to describe game one in your best form of vocabulary, how would you do that?
I think Scawa would now say up until they lose the game they're winning towards SBTC. That's kind of what happened in the early game, where like a Killer Queen goes for one gank that kind of fails because Tuti can just run out. Then he goes for another that works. Then he goes for another. He just dies under turret. And Killer Queen overall, despite playing mechanically a good game, I would say, he went for some very tricky decisions. And SBTC in their own right, they didn't look as bad as we expected them. Especially, I think Spot played definitely well on the Viego. Like at this one T1, T2 turret dive at the 14th minute mark, where he got the resets going on, got untargetable, and definitely turned that fight around together with Tuti, who also was farming very well on the Wise. There was definitely a mid-jungle duo that was surprisingly strong for SBTC, and also the bot lane. The timing was kind of off for H3 on some of the roams he did, and he kind of soul Shine out, who was falling down against Jinx on his Jhin pick, and like this, it was definitely a game that was a lot closer than we expected, and SBTC almost turned it around, got a tail to win both. Some of his teamfight positioning was definitely questionable.
Marby, I'm going to go to you because Quincy said something that surprised me. Or if you had told me he was going to say that at the start of the day, it would have surprised me. And none of that was that Spot played well.
I think overall Spot was fine. He didn't really like. He had a couple of team fights where he popped off, and Viego did Viego things. But overall, I think his prowess was not so much. It's hard to really put on just him. It was the whole team. It was a very brains versus brawn sort of matchup, and SBTC were playing the map generally quite a bit better, but Luxury were just forcing things and outplaying team fights and trying to make that sort of thing happen. As the game progressed, we saw a few flubs in map positioning. Like, I think you could have given up that first Baron and just had Enpo use that whole breaker to just hard shove through the bot lane. And so, yeah, overall, it was SBTC playing, sort of knowing the game better, but Luxury playing it better. And I have to say, that is the single worst 6-1 Tryndamere I have ever seen in my life.
I mean, Marby you did say at the start that Tryndamere would run over the game.
Yes.
They did get strong, but they didn't quite run over the game. It got long, it got extended, it got drawn out.
So Tryndamere should be solo killing Graves pretty much the moment he hits 6, at least. We saw the early ghost pop around level 4, and I was like, yep, this is standard, that he's going to try and force it out. Then Coded became the very cowardly barbarian. He picked his moments, came in after fights were finished, and just sort of played a bit of cleanup for a little bit, and that gave him his lead. And then he just kept buying not good items to buy. Like, Quick Blades is fine if you're snowballing, but he wasn't. The Infinity Edge is kind of redundant. You don't need it, and you should have picked up like the Mortal Reminder earlier for the side lane. You should have picked up your own Hull Breaker instead of the Randuin's. It was playing Tryndamere wrong, but playing it wrong well.
Okay. See, I understand that, Quincy, and you might understand it as well. I used to say back when I was playing chess, it's better, and this is for practicing, this wasn't for tournaments, it's better to play the wrong move for the right reasons than the right move for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, kind of, but I think maybe Coded kind of forgot that Hullbreaker is indeed not a mythic item. It usually feels like one because they tend to rush it and it's just so strong. But yeah, at least like on Hullbreaker instead of Randuin's, I would definitely agree. I think Navori Quick Blades and Infinity Edge are fine depending on what you really want to do. Saying if he was snowballing or not is kind of arguable as well. But having some armor pen would definitely help him. And I don't quite understand the decision to go for that anti-healing item that he went. It was the Campac Chainsword instead of the Mortal Reminder. I mean, he's the crit champion in the game and he doesn't go the crit item. That was kind of questionable for me at least. And yeah, really wonder how really SBTC tries to turn around in game 2. And I gotta say, with Celebrity, they might have won that game because Win Boys some ways he got caught out of these team fights was definitely questionable. He also died with flash up to Jin bullets, and even positioning like this was definitely a problem this game. And SPTC must have their reason. I just wonder what it really is.
Now, while Quincy absolutely loves analysing stuff, he is an analyst. We do have a draft happening, so I'm going to direct our wonderful analyst's attention to that, because actually the Akali has been banned away from Blazes, as this Gwen is looking to be first pick for SBTC, Marvin.
Yeah, it's a fairly standard
Lee Sin
pick
open.
across the board. It does leave Killer Queen with the Lee Sin option. He will almost certainly just go back at that. Why not? But Gwen is fairly safe. She doesn't lose any matchup hard enough that she doesn't eventually become that huge threat fairly effectively. And if you're just going to take Grace into it, you're kind of handshaking. I think you kind of end up on the worst side of that as coated. In Champion alone, but yeah, if you just go Graves Lee Sin here, that's it's a very safe and completely fine 1 and 2 that doesn't show a single thing in your draft.
Doesn't really show anything. I'm not sure if you really need to pick the Lee Sin that early, because maybe Spot would actually take it away, but that would also like leave the flags not open, but that's also something that you have on your own side. You could pick the priority AD carry here, but which would maybe for their side actually be the Jhin, which is something that would trigger some of our broadcast team.
No Jhin!
But otherwise, yeah, Aphelios is also a pick you can pick. I think though, that they will actually pick the Jhin against the Aphelios just to have the range advantage in the laning phase, which is something, of course, somewhat questionable. But Veigar gets in very early. That is very strong pick on that patch. I mean, it got buffed recently, and you can play it very safely, still farm out the storm. And I think, it already got nerfed a little bit back, right? Because it was just that strong. And Veigar still, we see it yesterday in LCS, for example, for Bjergsen. It is a pick, very safe, still scales very, very well into the game. And with Predator, you can also impact the game early decently too.
I'm really sad that this Lee Sin has been picked in, but I'm loving the Veigar, because currently when you look over to the side of Luxury, the main engage is really coming from that Lee Sin, and Veigar can do a lot to stop it. Marby, would you as a result like to see more forms of engage being locked in for Luxury, maybe something along the lines of a Leona, or do you think they have enough right now and maybe they can look towards a more supporter, enchanter type support?
So if you go for a more sort of traditional, it's really annoying that they've already locked in the Lee Sin, because I would be saying a Hecarim would be fantastic to sort of deal with the Veigar, because as is, a lot of your engage that you can pick right now gets shut down by the baby cage. If the baby cage comes down, you just get stunned halfway there, your engage fizzles out. It's very annoying to play into. So maybe trying to play a more pulled back zone control, sort of Orianna plus an enchanter of some kind. That could be a viable option, but I'm definitely not against putting more engage into the lane for Luxury. Chances are we just see an Alistair or a Leona, something along those lines. So, and they're seeing things like the Poppy ban as well. They really want to it signals to me they want to put a bit more mobility into their team comp.
It looks like they are hovering the Yumi, but I actually would want to see Luxury picking Leona, just dive against 2T, because 2T, as a rookie, he has shown some jitters. Last game was actually kind of fine for him, but you can focus on the Veigar really well if you just pick a lot of engage against him. Also, what kind of surprised me are the top lane bans on the side of Luxury. I don't think Tryndamere is picking the jungle at all in the current patch, and so they expect the Gwen to be the pick for Spot and not at all for Emperor. Maybe after locking in the Grave, that kind of makes sense, yeah. And picking Vladimir right now is a bit bold.
I actually wanted to jump in because I was going to bring this up. Not the Vladimir, but the fact that Blazes has not played a single champion twice so far this split. He's played 6 unique champions, including the Akali from last game. I wanted to say Kassadin, but we've got a Vladimir in, and that it's kind of similar. It scales, it does a lot of damage in the late game. It's kind of broken sometimes.
Yeah, also does not give a damn about the event horizon, so very happy to just sweep in through that with his puddle, and can jump on top of the Veigar. And we're seeing that support counter pick left open with what's there that indicates something a little bit spicier, but again, you might still find yourself lacking that engage. It's just Leona. It's your R5.
Yeah, just Leona. I mean, why not Leona in the first place? You could have blind picked it. It's good against Nautilus. It makes sense against the Vega. It makes sense with the Jhin. Why not pick Leona? For Blazes though, I would have loved him to pick like Echo or something to just ignore the cage the different way. You just dive and also just face dive over the cage. Go with the blink and
You
you
face
cannot do
dive
anything.
over a cage?
With the
No.
second part, yes.
No.
The dash, no, but the blink part, yes. That's why Vega gets destroyed by Echo.
It's a two-part dash. The blink,
Okay.
blink can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with
fair
the
enough.
ult, you could also ignore the cage. So Echo would have been great too. Would have been funny. Maybe it's not really the meta pick right now, so he doesn't go for it. But neither is the Vladimir actually. Cassidy also a great pick. And Vladimir, of course, you can also fight scaling with scaling a little bit, and also maybe ruin Celebrity Stay. If he doesn't have the red-white weapons out, you can just unleash your whole combo on Vladimir. And Vladimir is kind of a tanky assassin, so that's not something Aphelios would like.
Okay, well, we have our drafts coming in. Quincy, Marby, would you like to give your quick thoughts on who has won the draft and who will win the game? Marby, I'll go to you first.
Names off, I think SBTC has a much more solid draft all around. I think it does everything they want very well. It's got super strong solo laners. It's got one of, if not the best AD carry on patch. And luxury. But yeah, it is luxury. So I'm very interested to see how Blazers pilots the Vladimir, and I think they'll still win. But I do think SBTC won the draft.
I think names of it's kind of even. The solo matchups are kind of good for the side of luxury, and they are also like individually the stronger team. And the Jhin Leona lane, I think, could brutalize the Aphelios Nautilus lane to some extent if the Aphelios Nautilus lane is not playing perfectly. So I'll go with luxury again.
Okay, well, we're going to be throwing to our wonderful casters, and I'm going to be doing so with a petition that if the Vladimir doesn't do well, he calls it a puddle for Vladimir. And if the Vladimir is doing well, he, I don't know, comes up with some really cool name for it. Carrick's your way, take us away.
But I always call it a puddle. I already do that. Don't need to make a petition. I always call it the puddle. That's what it is. Vlad is a puddle. And this mid lane is truly a battle of whether or not short kings have rights. 2T has to prove that they do. Not using the pay to win skin, proud of you. It's actually probably banned in competitive, I don't know. But your way, what do you think of these mid lane picks?
I'm so excited to finally get to see the VCS Veigar. We have seen so many bans, even first rotation, second rotation, everywhere. Veigar has been a constant ban this week, and we finally get to see this champion. I'm really, really excited to see why he is perma-banned right now. He even was banned in the second rotation, I believe, in the last game. But yeah, it seems to be dominating the meta in the VCS scrims. Now, unfortunately, it's the weakest team bringing the Veigar to the stage, but if they can win a game against Luxury, the Veigar is probably justified in the ban spot, right? So, I really think SPDC has smashed the draft. In my opinion, this draft is illegal, but we have a bot lane Clash. Hein, he gets away. He's fast.
Yeah, Ignite spent there from Paulette. Doesn't actually pay off. And against a Jhin with biscuits and 4 pots, he's going to get that health back real quick. H3, Zenith played it in and then very quickly went, oh, whoops, didn't count my minions very well there. Don't have a follow-up.
The classic Leona. Yep. Also,
LeonaPlayers.jpg.
Leona against Nautilus. Every game. Woohoo. I would really like to see some other supports from time to time. Actually, kind of longing to see some Alistair play. I know that's not allowed, but honestly, better than Leona Nautilus every game.
You must be truly desperate.
yeah, I kind of am. So, we do have some steals here in terms of draft for SPTC. They got the first pick Gwen, which has been a constant as well, but they got the Veigar. They traded it for the Graves Lee Sin. And Graves Lee Sin is very high priority, especially for Luxury as well. So it's not like Luxury got dropped in the drafting phase, if you just look at the first few priorities. But then Lee Sin and Graves into Veigar, I have no idea how they're supposed to play the game in the late game. Like, doesn't seem possible to me. There needs to be some magic from Killer Queen, and Coded can't even attack anyone if Veigar plays well. But maybe the game's over by that point. Killer Queen very inactive so far. We can have a 2v2 clash, and Killer Queen is a level ahead.
Yeah, but I think what they're just doing here is they're just making sure that the mid lane is shoving in the favor of SE Spot can now head down, try and get a double crab here, because they have priority on the bot side as well. Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's Luxury's bot lane. I completely misread that. So they're actually saved by the bot lane priority. But with Paulette walking up, there's a hook going in. The baby cage is out. H3 has to flash. Can't do anything to try and get out of there. Now 2T walking away. Paulette's bound up for a moment. The crab itself is playing for Luxury, as Killer Queen will secure that. But that's a lot of resources for some seafood.
Seafood for the cost of 1 flash in the support position. Killer Queen is happy with that. Not sure if H3 is too happy with that outcome, but now Killer Queen zoning when... Yeah. Wow, Killer Queen didn't land a Q. Report this guy. Not sure what's happening. His cheats are finally off, I guess, but 2T, he wants to get back to his minions, he wants his stacks. Of course, this is actually something to track if the game gets very boring. How many times does 2T just go over to the chickens and get some stacks from smiting away the small chickens with his Q? But so far, he's just farming up nicely in the mid lane. He's a few CS behind, but there are a few CS hitting his tower as well, so this should be fine. As H3...
Oh, H3, down he goes.
Yeah, no flash. So the extended cost for the Skull Crab was a kill for the bot lane. That's a kill to Celebrity, who is back in the longest standing play in the VCS right now, together with Levi, I believe. And of course, he is here to carry the game. Win, boys, wasn't the greatest, but yeah, this is just a hook from Palette, and H3 is not tanky enough against purple and blue.
Particularly the blue, doing a lot of damage there, because it's Aphelios. But well played out of both of them for sure. I'd love to see the CS at the moment. Oh, there we go. Thanks, observers. Yep, Vega has stabilized after that wave crashed into his tower. Not too bad. He's on 41 stacks at the moment, so not too bad. Ooh, Coded not looking great, and Enper just barely survives.
That was close, Emperor. Playing with fire in the top lane, or with needles, I should say, I guess. But in the end, it's a decent kill, and they're getting... Oh, wait, how did Kota even end up there? I guess Kota tried to chase for a kill, because that was the enemy team's tower.
I kind of thought it was... I just assumed it was a dive, but
exactly.
no.
Nope, that was actually the enemy team's tower. So Kota a little bit too aggressive. We know him as a very aggressive player here. A weird performance in game 1, I'd say. Yeah, he's fine. He still has his ultimate, his Q is stacked. But yeah, his performance was up and down in game 1. Some very good team fights, some very questionable itemization. Then late game, the team fights didn't look too great. Yeah, Kota just seeing the spot E. And look at him. He's just walking around the spot E, trying to actually anticipate where Spot is coming from. So Spot was forced to flash here. Can't really fault Kota too much. Yeah, he pushed up, but he played the situation as well as he could. Forced another summoner. He did go down, so Enper a little bit accelerated now, getting the kill in the top lane. But 2 Doran's items will kind of equalize that gold lead later on in the game.
And the SE are going very aggressive here onto Killer Queen's blue. H3 just walks through the enemy team, though. The imposter spotted. He goes down, and now it's a reset given over to Spot. He does have access to the ult. Palette catching him with the edge of the hook. I don't think anyone expected him to be able to, because the follow-up wasn't there. They get the kill and just walk on out.
It's a 3-0 lead for SBTC. They're stomping Luxury in this early game. Not really gold-wise, only 800 gold ahead, or roughly 1,000. Nice block from a Celebrity, denying the cannon there. But in the end, not sure what H3 is doing. He's completely lost on this map. And yeah, no flash. Still down from that mid lane play, or Scuttle Crab play, and he goes down again. Another flash from Blazes, so now he's vulnerable to a potential gank from Spot, together with 2T. They can orchestrate quite a sticky situation for Blazes. But first, Blazes should be fine.
Has no mana.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't think that's any threat. 75 stacks of the darkness being brought up for Lord Vigar.
Yeah, 120 AP already at 8 minutes. That's really rough to deal with. That is... If you ever step into the W, that's an, I believe, 90% AP scaling. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, the dark mana really hurts. And so let's have a look at this replay. This fight was chaotic, but take us through it your way.
Yeah, I mean, H3 just taking a wander into his own jungle, completely disregarding the positioning of everyone else, his team, the enemy team. No one actually anticipated this hook to land, as you said on cast. Not Palette, not 2T, not Blazes. No one was actually looking at this as a potential kill, so the follow looked awkward. In the end, it's still a kill, it's still a flash and a kill, of course. So SPTC in a good position. Every lane is doing well. The Veigar is scaling up nicely. And yeah, this team, I'm not sure what they did this week, but it's certainly working. They are looking so much better than last week.
They've been eating their wheat bix. That's what it is. They've been eating the breakfast of champions, and it's working out. Aphelios doing tower things, though.
Yeah, and this is because Luxury actually spent so much time going to the towards the top side. Shine actually returning to the bot lane. A little late, though. So it's the classic Shirley bargain against Aphelios. Almost never works out in your favor. In this case, we're also just the reset timing, but look at the gold lead already. SPTC 2k gold ahead, 1.5 I should say, ahead with a scaling draft, with a Veigar. So they're not even pressed to really accelerate the game. They can just sit in mid lane and farm forever, and then Aphelios, Veigar are going to do the rest. But not even just Aphelios, Veigar. They also have late game scaling jungler and top lane.
Predator was, I thought, yeah, Predator used there by 2T just to kind of go in and pressure Blazes a little bit. So a cooldown spent for not much.
Yeah, this Vladimir pick, oh, Spot,
very bold, but they know that the bot lane's close enough to intervene.
Look how tanky he is already. He got the early kill. Has very high farm, 82 farm. At 10 minutes for a jungler who actually went for some fights. That's very high indeed. So, yeah, he's close to his first item, and Spot, quite a menace in this game already.
I still we need to see Blazes. Once he's activated, he's now hit level 9. That's a really important breakpoint for the Vladimir, as we all know. Level 5 in that transfusion. I'd like to see what they do with this Vladimir on the map, because it's a pick I'm very interested in. On the top side, ultimates being exchanged. Neither lethal, though, as Enpa is just going to be pushed in. Ooh, doesn't land the last needlework. Might have been able to make something happen if he did.
And the Vladimir is another pick we've actually seen hovered in Champion Select from time to time, especially this week. So maybe those two champions in the mid lane really are dominating the meta. Maybe Vladimir is actually the answer into Veigar for most teams, because they didn't really hesitate to go for the Vladimir. It wasn't banned in second phase, so I don't think SPTC was too worried about this champion either. And yeah, as it is with Vladimir, oftentimes his early game is not the greatest. Veigar's isn't the most active either, so the mid laners are just farming away. We're basically back to a Corki Azir or Corki Victor meta, just with different faces. So here we are again.
Cooler faces. Remember, Corki wouldn't be shit without his plane. So whenever Corki hits you with a big rocket, just remember that without his plane, he's just a little nerd. These two mid laners, though, both big chads, Vladimir and Veigar, as this is a much slower game than game 1 was your way. We had 55 kills in game 1, and now we're at 3 kills at 12 minutes.
Yeah, Blazes caught in the baby cage. He's stunned.
He's in a lot of trouble, but Puddle and gets out.
Oh, he used the Ghost. We see so many people actually going Ghost in the mid lane now. Kind of reminiscent of the, I don't remember the year, but there was one year where we had all the control mages taking Ghost for teamfight positioning. Of course, Ghost has always been amazing for Vladimir. His whole existence, he wanted to go Flash Ghost in the top lane. Blazes, another pool.
Hemo Plague used. They go in. They're trying to do as much damage as they can onto 2T, but he puts up the baby cage. Can anyone follow in? Yes, Leona can. So it's a 1-for-1 at the moment. Do they want to keep this going? Blazes is there to try and cover out the support. Needs to try and get something done, but can't do it against a rampaging Spot.
5-1 for SPTC, and that's more time against the Rift Herald drop. It's only 1 minute away from actually not getting any plates, so the Rift Herald is really not working out for Luxury. They made the trade. They didn't invest all their time to make the trade, so it's not the most crucial, but still, you want some plating gold from that. Blazes dodged so much of the CC early on Palette's ultimate. And
Spot, oh my god. I just want to point out, Spot just like Mr. Presidented the Lee Sin queue that bought enough time that forces H3 to be in that position. That was incredible out of Spot.
That's very good to see, and Spot really stepping up to the plate in this game. Like, he is the main carry now. Oh no, Coated. Where are you going?
Coated doesn't have a puddle, but he does have a shield bow that saves him from that Veigar burst.
And that's a shield bow great. That's one of the tankiest champions possible at 14 minutes, almost getting one shot by level 10 2T. One more level, and that ultimate, Primordial Burst, might have been able to kill him there. So this is getting scarier and scarier for Luxury, and I'm not sure if they even know what to do about this. At least the Dragon stacking is going their way, so potentially a way out. Movement speed is gonna be nice, but I don't think a win condition in itself. So Luxury really needs to find a way back into this game and find a way to actually win team fights here.
It's going to be a little bit tricky as, again, SE do get the shove in. This Aphelios is looking very good, but it's Spot that has been drawing the eye for sure.
It's a 3v3 angle. If they overstep to get the tower, Killer Queen could really punish hard, but he shows his face.
Quite far off to the side, but they just don't do it.
Another clean objective secured for SPTC. 5-1 now in kills and 26k gold to 24. So more than a 2k lead. 3-0 on Spot. First item finished, almost towards the second item already. This is not the performance we saw in the last game. He was decent, but now he's really dominating. And with such a tanky champion in the jungle, who also has the threat of resets and healing from the resets not being targetable, that's another thing you really are scratching your head for, because the Veigar is already super scary, but now you also need to deal with Spot on the other side.
Well, let's look at this one as 2T has been caught out, puts up the baby cage, uses the Everfrost. He's actually going to be able to walk out of this one, and Spot has found Blazes. The Moonlight Vigil comes out as not even needed, as the Primordial Burst will bring the damage. And it looks like it might have just been a Game 1 stumble for SE. They took it the whole distance, and in Game 2, they're looking so clean.
And this is the huge problem with diving Veigar. Yeah, maybe you can kill him. You couldn't even hear. But if you kill him, you are in such a precarious situation because you can't move away because of the baby cage. You probably got bursted down by Veigar's spells, even if he dies. But look at this. They invested so much. He just walked into the stun. So this was the perfect setup to kill the Veigar, and they can't even do that. So much damage from the Veigar. And of course, Spot is here to put the finishing touches on those kills. It's a kill to the two biggest carries of the team. 7-1 now, and this game is in firm control of SPTC.
Yeah, but Paulette has been caught out. You know, Paulette, he's a nice guy, has to give the enemy team a chance as this Nautilus is being hounded down and taken out.
Did Blazes just use his ghost to get that kill? No, I don't think so. Looking at the cooldown, that can't be the case. He looked very fast to me. But Emperor, in the meantime, already putting damage onto the outer tower. I really have to say, the overall macro game in the VCS in the last 2 weeks has been so much better than we've seen before. We saw glimpses of good macro developing in winter, especially from our championship team, Cerberus, and especially when it came to objective fights, like the Herald. But now we see so many teams actually being able to put people into the side lane, make use of pushed lanes, put damage, chip damage onto towers. I'm very impressed by this, and this is supposed to be our weakest team, so really a step up from previous years or splits.
Yeah. Herald summoned up here on the top side as well. They wanted to put even more pressure onto Luxury, and Blazes, he has the pull, but I don't think it gets him out of this one. Uses the Hemo Plague, calls in a teleport, has to commit the flash as well. Look how much they have to use just to get away.
And now the Veigar is even an initiation tool. Usually he's a very defensive champion, trying to zone, trying to disengage or counter-engage. But now with the Predator and his more defensive itemization, he's actually going to be able to engage as well. So this Veigar is really doing it all. Another flash from H3 has to be blown as Paulette is there. And SPTC walking into mid lane, this should be an easy tower, playing so well around the outer turrets in both of these games.
They're going to push in onto the mid lane here. This is obviously a big one to crack open as they put the baby cage over the side of it. Look at the damage! Oh boy, that's a hell of a lot, and Spot is the benefactor.
Oh man, SPTC is looking revitalized. There's a shutdown, and once again it's the mid-outer tower that kills the Lee Sin. This time he stole away the Lee Sin to actually look like Killer Queen again in this game. Beautiful cosplay. That's 10 out of 10 from Spot. But he gets 2 more kills, he's 6-1. This is the performance Spot fans were hoping for. The performance that was promised so many times from all the fans watching VCSB and saying Spot is actually the prodigy. He is the next Levi, the next FOFM. Well, it's just one game right now, but still, it's a good showing.
Oh my word, that is that Veigar W, the dark matter called down from the depths of the universe onto the heads of Luxury. Luxury will fire back by moving themselves up to Soul Point, but as you said earlier, it's just a Cloud Soul. It's nice, but it's not game winning. I don't think SE is sweating too hard.
And the Cloud Soul in isolation is certainly great for a lot of these champions, right? Cloud Soul for Vladimir, the most important stat for Vladimir has always been movement speed. That's why he loves the Ghost so much. But I don't think they bring the damage to really make use of the movement speed, especially looking at 2T's itemization now. He's going full tank Veigar after first item. Kind of expect him to go for Fimble Winter as well. So this Veigar is trying to be Rise, but with more AP and less mana. Let's see how that works out. I've never seen that before. The Veigar usually... Yeah, he's banned all the time in VCS, and I haven't seen him too much in other leagues, so let's see what 2T can bring to the table. As Spot is fighting 1v3, but he's scary.
Yeah, but he is going to get locked up. I think they should be able to take him down, and that's a big shutdown given over to a Vlad.
Ooh, Spot overstepping 2 times in a row. Shutdown to Vlad, as you said. He's level 13. There's always the late game fantasy. It might be hard in this game, but it might also still be possible. He doesn't have the TP, so no flanks are super obvious for this Vladimir, which is something Vladimir's usually try to rely on in the late game. So we have to see him sidestep ability, sidestep the CC and counter engage from 2T especially. But if he's able to do so, he can one-shot anyone in the late game.
Certainly will be. We'll have to see if the Harvest Moon does rise and hang red in the sky, or if it will be SE managing to maintain this lead. It's bang on 2,000 gold. Emperor and Coded having a little bit of a clash on the top side, but nothing will come of it. These top laners just want to kill the minions.
Interestingly, Coded this time not opting to go for the Hull Breaker. Maybe a good adaptation looking at the across his team and saying, okay, we have to fight for the dragons in this game. We can't win through split push. The dragons are only win condition, so Coded just go the strongest team fight possible. And now Killer Queen is here to punish Emperor.
Yeah, but it's not very easy to punish this, Gwen. It's going to take a little bit of time, and they dump a Leona ult to actually make sure that it happens. Snip, snip. The needlework is not enough as the collateral damage sends her back to the Shadow Isles. Paulette flashing forward, but hits the wall.
Spot is still here, though.
Depth charge onto H3 as Spot comes in from an insane angle. Will be able to break the heart of Leona. And Coded now, he's in trouble. No, he can't land the E, but he can R over and use his own abilities. Veigar picking up the kill, Spot picking up another reset. And oh my god, Spot's having a good game.
Oh yes, you can say that again. Spot is smurfing on this Viego pick, and so many times you've seen Viego picks, especially for the less experienced junglers, especially on the worst teams, just fall flat, not doing anything because the team is falling too far behind. Not the case today, not the case with Spot's Viego. He is one of those Viegos you don't want to see on the enemy team. So hard to deal with, able to play all the other champions well as well, and what a good collapse. They got 2 kills out of this one. They got the flash out of Coded as well. You can also take a look at 2T. He's fearlessly walking at these 2 scary members, instantly drawing the flash from Coded, and he still goes down. So 2T with the engage capabilities of tank Veigar, really throwing a wrench in the gears of Luxury's plan for this game as well.
As we come back to live, Luxury do crack open the mid lane though, so this is by no means over your way. We have two extremely evenly matched teams. And I can't write Killer Queen off, even though at the moment Spot is certainly resplendent. I think we're in for another banger.
We might be, yeah. I still feel like looking at these compositions, Luxury shouldn't be able to win any team fights in 10 minutes, but they can always surprise, and I am still baiting my breath looking at Blaze's late game Vladimir. He has been amazing so far on the split, so maybe Blaze is the one to carry his team today. Killer Queen still
There's no
mechanically... Wait, wow. Okay, yeah, they do have Gwen, which is one of the premier Baron burster right now, and they also have Aphelios with White Gun. Spot is here. Oh no. Killer Queen, can you steal this one away?
Yeah, but he's getting zoned out by Enpa. He has to get over the wall. He can't do it. He does not secure the smite. And this is SE picking up the Baron. They're picking up the kills as well. One is answered back by Shine, but one is not enough. Blazes spreads the plague. He's going in, uses another E. The curtains open up, but Spot is coming. The king of the Shadow Isles rises. He bears down, needs to take out his uncle. He's hiding inside another man, and there it is. The final kill comes in. Spot commits a crime against his own family, and they push down the mid lane.
And look at him style on the enemy team too. Instead of just going back to his Viego farm, using his ultimate to execute and being much more safe with the melee stats, he stays as Shine as Jhin and executes the last kill as Jhin. Very nice to see that he's actually able to play all the other champs as well. This is a little bit of a last ditch effort for Luxury. I really don't like going for the full team fight in this kind of Baron dance. It's so scary, and you saw it backfire very, very hard for Luxury. Just have your jungler try to steal. If he doesn't steal, it's only 1.5k gold for the enemy team. The game is not over because of a Baron. The game is over, however, if you give a Baron and 5 kills, which was the case here. So, yeah, not the greatest decision from Luxury. In hindsight, always easier to say. But SE also stopping the Dragon Snowball, and now in such a good position in this game. 7k gold ahead with the Baron buff, scaling up 9 and 2 Viego with 3 items. I don't see how Luxury can win this game.
It's going to be very, very hard. The Veigar as well continuing to scale. That's a dead man's plate.
Yeah, he's going full speed, full tank, and engage, and Coated is dead.
Yeah, Coded, there's not even really much to talk about there, as it's just Celebrity absolutely ripping a hole in him. And this is looking like a dominant win here for SE, and we may just have to completely reassess our ranking of this team.
Yeah, it seems like C games are not just a farce, they actually matter, especially for team synergy. And SPTC, doing well in C games, now finally able to transition that success over to the VCS as well, potentially. It's only one game so far, we need to see them actually win the series against Luxury. And on the other side, we need to be very scared for Luxury. After coming in and stomping Sky, we all thought, wow, this Luxury is here to stay. But then they lost to SGB. If they lose to SPTC today, they are actually going to be on the bottom half of the table.
It's very true. And of course, this game is not yet over. There is still a Vlad. He has the whole world on his shoulders. I don't favor them by any means. But I can't write a Vlad out. I can't do it in good conscience. It's just going to be down to this man on your screen who is having a blinder of a performance. Can they stop Spot?
And Spot is really liking the items right now. This patch has the blade buffs, but it doesn't have the rework of the other items, so you can actually go the current itemization he went for. So Sterak, second item, then blade, which makes him insanely tanky, gives him an insane amount of damage and sustain. So Spot in a really good spot. Haha. The dragon is coming up in 2 minutes, and there's absolutely nothing a Luxury can do right now. They're just hoping for an overdive from SPTC, maybe under the Nexus towers, maybe under the Inhibitor towers. Other than that, there's really nothing they can hope for.
This is a hard one to watch if you're a Luxury fan. As the base is being assaulted, the cage goes up. Blazers eats a hook.
Oh!
Okay, still has that. Oh, he goes down without pressing W your way. That's a disaster. Spot steals away his body. And oh no, out of nowhere, I think we might be witnessing the game end as they charge on forward. The depth charge is a little bit too deep to actually follow up on it. And now they just need to take down this inhibitor. Enpa, be careful. Don't go down to the tower.
The tower is
think the game
whipping up
does
so
end,
much
but
damage.
wow.
Yeah, there was a stack tower to like 10 or 11 stacks, so that's a little too scary to continue, but they still get the tower, and that burst from 2T. He's not even playing full AP.
Careful.
Spot might be
He's
dead
low.
here.
Shine could get a big kill here as they go forward. Killer Queen trying to take him down. They do. Oh no, Luxury. This could be them getting back into the game. SE may have just gone a little bit too far. 2T now brings in the burst. Oh my god, that was just a raw dog ultimate. And it does so much damage. An overextension for nothing.
Exactly what Luxury was hoping for. So Luxury gets what they absolutely needed to get back into the game. Unfortunately for them, no more gold funneled into the Vladimir, so you're just going to put him into the top lane for as long as you can, if he can actually clear those minions. Look at this again. I think he gets caught by the... No, he gets CC'd. He could have pressed... No, I think he was perma CC'd. I don't think he can press W. It's a very nice chaining of CC there, and that is the potential of the burst from Veigar, even on not a full AP build. He still probably has like 400 AP right now, so that's very scary. He's also level 16, so his ultimate hurts a lot. Now we see the overextension, and it starts with the Spot just... I think he gets... Yeah, okay, Spot thought he was out of that ultimate from Shine, but he was actually
a little bit bigger than the pizza slice.
Exactly. So the pizza definitely backfired there for him. And he died with getting hit by a 770, I think, crit from Shine. So a little unfortunate, a little bit overzealous, a mix of both, but in the end it doesn't cost SPTC too much.
It doesn't. SE will now fall back over to the Dragon. They pick up their second stack of the Cloud buff now, continuing to deny Soul from Luxury. 7,000 gold is the difference here. 30 minutes into the game on a blood-soaked Summoner's Rift. And let's have a replay of, I think there must have been a solo kill.
Yeah, I think Enpa died and Shine died too, so just a little trade of kills, as we always like to see in the VCS. In the end, the more we advance in macro, the more we also go back to just dying randomly in side lanes. So Enpa...
they actually get two.
No,
Enpa
just walked into a rogue bullet, 500 crit, and Enpa dies instantly. In the end, it doesn't matter, it's a 1-for-1. They get the Dragon, and they get map positioning for the Baron. The game has come to a little bit of a halt, though, and there are objective bounties, so if Killer Queen can steal away the Baron, that will buy a lot of time and give some nice gold injection into Luxury.
I think the objective bounties are going to drop, though, just before the Baron actually gets low enough. Yeah, they've just gone.
Sad.
As Killer Queen tags up with the Q. There is the Jhin ult rattling in. In he goes into the bit and he steals it away! The Killer Queen reigns eternal! They take down Spot as well, and Luxury may have just turned it around. Blazers with a big E, dealing so much damage. The Hemo Plague gets Zonya's by 2, and now he just has to navigate. He's in the puddle. He gets another transfusion, but can the blood actually take hold? Or will 2T bear down on the rest of the team? They've killed off 3. Only 2 members of Luxury still live. 2T with all that movement speed still chasing for now, but I think it will just be the trade of kills for a stolen Baron.
It's not an objective bounty, but of course still nice to have the Baron. They need to survive the next 2 minutes though, because 2T is still so threatening. He can just walk up wherever he wants to be. Celebrity, not the greatest weapons right now, but good for sieging. He needs to rotate to a different set of weapons for team fighting. I think right now they're just content getting 1 inhibitor in the top lane. In the end, it's an inhibitor for Baron trade. But can Killer Queen extend the fight?
It's Killer Queen! Why is it point and click when he plays this champion?
There we
go. He just navigated that to perfection. He W's to get around the baby cage. He finds the one line that gets the Q. Let's have a look at this Baron steal.
Just beautifully done. Q on the Baron. Q execute damage with Smite for Killer Queen, so an easy one. And then Spot. This is one of the big problems with Viego at Baron situations as we first look at the rest of the fight. Very, very good stopwatch from Celebrity to get away from here. And not dying actually gave them a way to win the fight, or at least stay even the fight. No, they actually won the fight. But yeah, this is one of the huge problems with Viego as a jungler. In these kind of situations where he has to be focused on the objective, he cannot play the way Viego wants to play, which is waiting, biding his time, waiting for his opportunity to strike. Now, he's on the front line because he has to hit the Baron, he has to be there to secure the Baron, and once again we saw a very fat Viego, like in this case, kind of just get chunked by the objective and easily executed. So you have to take that success from Luxury in the team fight with a grain of salt, because the Viego is basically not participating. Next fight, the 9-kill Viego is back. He's level 16. He has a GA. In fact, he has 4 items now. So I still don't favor Luxury to win any team fights, but they've gotten a little bit closer, and if Killer Queen can work his magic, you never know.
You never, ever know. And again, Blazes, he's only 2-4-2, but we're starting to see the damage that a Vladimir can do. As he exsanguinates the enemy team. The SE push is here. They want to try and take down this mid lane. It's not going to be easy to stop them. 2T uses the baby cage, throws out a dark matter, uses the Everfrost as well. The tower will fall, but Luxury still stands.
Veigar in a siege situation is so strong. He has insane poke, he has insane zoning control. You can't really dive on him too easily. So that is one of the strongest setups for Veigar. When you can see all the enemy team, and when they can't flank him, he's the strongest. But now Blazes, it's his time to shine.
But he only hits the Hemo Plague onto 1, and the follow-up's not there. It's just a little bit of chip damage. Jhin ultimate used, but I don't think it's going to find anything of significance. This is Luxury using a lot of important resources, getting nothing for it, and now the turnaround's here. The baby cage is out. The Leona has fallen. Blazes is doing what he can. They turn it around with 2. 2T has gone down your way, but it's the Spot show, and we have to watch as he moves forward, uses another Heartbreaker. He needs to take down Shine. Goes into the GA. The rest of SE, though, are here to back up their jungler. It is only Shine with 3 to stop, and they're not gonna let him, as here comes Spot. Gets a big shot from that 4th, but it doesn't matter. This should be the end of the game your way, and we are going to 3, and I'm so happy that we are.
And you might be able to shut down 2T, you might be able to shut down Emperor, sometimes Spot, but you can never shut down all of them. 4 insane damage threads, and they just weren't able to deal with all of them. So much damage and so many targets to deal with. And in the end, SPTC put in their best performance so far. Today is the day SPTC wants to strike back and actually overcome Luxury. Their first win in VCS. Not only in series, they haven't won the series, it's actually their first game win as well, and it's only looking up from here. Spot might actually be the starting jungler.
Maybe. I'm sure an analyst desk will have a lot to say about it. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in another 5 minutes to bring you the conclusion to this amazing series between Luxury and SE. See you in a little bit.
Welcome back, guys. We've had 2 games, and to be honest, at this point, we thought we'd have our long 2-hour extended break before our second series of the day, but you can see us, and that means that we are heading into a game 3 because SBTC have been popping off. I'm trying to think of an SBTC acronym that uses SPOT for the S, but I can't think of anything right now, so I'll come back to you guys on that later. Quincy, SPOT was incredible on the Viego.
He definitely was. Spot Viego good is what my notes are saying, and we already saw hints of it in the game before. But that was kind of Luxury kind of inting against Spots Viego and going for like very cocky dives, and at the end of the day, it was just him getting fed out of those, and it was very, very narrow. But this game, it was more on his own regard to really be proactive on the map. Just, of course, not the first few levels where Viego's kind of weak. He doesn't do that. But with Killer Queen also having kind of an off game, I dare say, Spot definitely picked up some slack and showed why people are or have been hyping him up beforehand as maybe the next great jungler of the VCS.
Now, Marby, for SBTC, we kind of talked in Game 1 about the fact that Vinboys was subbing in, replacing Celebrity for that opening game, and we talked about how it was close, and you actually mentioned maybe if they had Celebrity in, some of those little misplays that Vinboys was making, Celebrity wouldn't have made, and it could have won them the game. Game 2, kind of similar, SBTC having the lead. This time they had Celebrity, this time they were able to convert their advantage. So, I'm taking this to flip the switch, or flip the script to Luxury. They've been playing with Shine and H3. Is it time to bring back Vit and Palette? Sorry, not Palette.
Vit and CBL. I think it's definitely worth a shot. I don't think Shine. I think Shine in particular hasn't been playing particularly badly. H3, that last Leona game was tragedy, but overall I don't think they've been playing too badly. I would put a lot of that game more on. Well, H3 did in that first foray into the jungle, but a lot of it was Coated just sort of AFK pushing, just repeatedly getting killed over and over again, and that removed any opportunity really for Luxury to get back into it. So I wouldn't be against seeing them, especially the support change, but I don't think it is the fix they need. I think they really just need to shore up their draft. You can't lose a draft that heavily, and Coated, buddy, play less hyper, play with your brain on, I suppose. Put a ward down or two. I don't know.
This is VCS. We don't do warding, right? You know, you go in, you tower dive, then you think about it afterwards. Quincy, with kind of going on to this whole Coated point, he's played the Graves, he's played the Tryndamere, he has been playing these aggressive, strong side top champions. Do you think this is a case that Coated needs to go back to playing a weak side champion, maybe something like the Gragas? Or do you think that Luxury can't afford to do that when they have Shine in the bottom lane rather than Vet?
Considering how his Gragas looked like, I definitely would refrain against that. I just want him to play a strong side champion again and just play a little bit less overzealous. Just play with some respect against the enemy team, because every time like the camera pans towards him in the observers from the BetV side, we just see him like getting ganked and killed in the early game. That's of course something that has helped Spot quite a bit this game, which translated then in towards of course 2T having a great game on the Vega this time against this is Tank Vega, by the way. Absolutely insane thing. Not going for the Magi's, absolutely unbelievable. Even if you have 10 Dark Seal stacks, that is something that I would not want to see again. But speaking of Coded back, I think the bot lane shouldn't change on the side of Luxury, and that is because I think Shine played fine. And speaking of H3, I think he kind of is just suffering from bad macro overall from Luxury. It was just his Leona like flashing for a Scuttle Crab that Killer Queen wanted no matter what, apparently, and that was causing 2 deaths on the side of Leona, where he was just getting punished. And other than that, I don't think he played like mechanically terribly or something. Maybe the pick in itself wasn't as good as I initially expected, because Vega was definitely not very impressed by the Zenith blades that were coming out. And yeah, on the side of Luxury, I just don't want them to change too much. I want them to not reinvent the wheel or something like that. Just play a standard game, just play a bit more with respect, and then you should have it in game 3 still.
Well, we are into picks and bans. Luxury respecting Spots Viego. I'm interested to see what else he has in his champion pool, but I want to get predictions from both of you, Marby and Quincy. Blazes so far, he has had 7 unique champions. He's not played a single champion twice. do you think he pulls out a new champion out of his champion ocean?
Can you pick the Vega first?
Yeah, there you go. Turns out. So yes, is the short answer. This does mean Spot has the opportunity to take the Lee Sin away, but having Zinzel left open, it's not as big a takeaway as it could have been. What are we gonna see to open up for SBTC? I look for probably a standard bot lane. The Ophelios, maybe you're just locking your support if you want to hear something safe like the Thresh. Nautilus is the answer to that, but it's not so strong. I think you're against grabbing that Thresh either way.
Definitely so, and I really wonder what the answer will be from side of Luxury, and also what bot lane is playing, because I think China HP overall have been fine. They likely just go for some Jhin tactics again, because I mean all the other primary AD carries are basically banned out. Jinx is gone, Zeri is gone, and yeah, there's of course Jhin coming out. Maybe with now you having the Vega, you could just go for the Leona again, just keep playing comfort and just pick whatever strong side will be left open. And Hecarim, they are ready to play Hecarim. Hecarim would have been great against the Vega, but of course the Vega was like the trap card against the Lee Sin. This is also, I think, why they first picked the Vega, because they didn't feel confident in picking Lee Sin again, because then SBTC would have picked Vega again.
Yeah, I feel kind of confused, because yes, the Hecarim is insanely good, especially into the Vega, and SBTC were like, yes, we have to take Killer Queen off Lee Sin, so they actively pick a jungle that can't really play into the Vega, so they kind of done themselves there.
Is this the Luxury Esports masterclass? Because you guys actually mentioned in the previous game when the Vega was picked, if only you had the Hecarim available, it'd be so good compared to the Lee Sin. However, 2T locking the Vex in for himself as we head into the final ban phase.
And I think he hasn't shown proficiency on Vex yet, or just hasn't played it at all so far, so I'm really looking forward to see how he really performs as a champion. It should be a decent laning matchup against the Vega, because Vega, of course, not really a lane dominant champion in general. Vex a little bit more so. I don't expect like solo kills in this matchup at all, probably just them tossing the farm over and over against each other. But Vex in general is of course a very strong champion. If you have good execute damage, which of course the Lee Sin would bring, it is a very good mid-jungle duo to really like get one kill going, and if you get one kill, you're not that unlikely to get another one as well, with the reset mechanic coming out from the Shadow Surge. So I really like that on the side of SBTC. Vex is definitely still a very strong pick, maybe even rivaling the Vega in the mid lane a little bit. And now, of course, I want to see what will be the focus for SBTC's bot lane. Aphelios Lulu taken out, and now I really want Luxury to ban the Thresh, because that would just be way too easy of a pickup for the side of SBTC to really have a very strong bot lane here.
And I want to quickly bring up this Vex, and Marby, go to you on this, because you're actually our expert here at the VCS English on what can and can't go through a Vega baby cage, because Carrickson and Yulway got it wrong, so we need to help them out. Can Vex ult go through the cage?
I don't know. I haven't actually seen
No!
the matchup. So, I don't think... I think if it works in the same sense that if she becomes untargetable, she does get displacement immunity, so I do believe she is immune to the knockdown of the cage, so she should be able to travel through.
She has displacement immunity, I just looked it on the wiki here.
Yeah.
So only damage can stop her.
I mean, I
So,
never
yeah.
doubted Marby for a second.
Me neither.
She's the expert on what can go through a Vega baby cage, and if League of Legends disagrees, they're wrong and they actually need to change the game. We've got a Camille in, and I quite like this Camille going into the top lane, but Jax is open here, Quincy.
Jax is open, Tryndamere also open, but last time I've seen Tryndamere against Camille, the Camille just destroyed the Tryndamere, so it will be something different. Tahm on the current patch is again a support pick, so you would not expect the Tahm to really rival the Camille in the top side there. But I think Jax will be the most likely pickup here. Graves is banned, and the other strong usual picks are not there, which would really favor against the Camille. And yeah, Jax is the most solid pickup. You just win the side lane at some point. You lose the first few levels, but then you're good to go. Great call by our host.
Yep. Jax is also a coded special, so that seems to be that would be his favorite over something like an Aurelia or a Fiora to sort of match that. But I do think they've done themselves a little bit stupid, because Luxury banned the Nautilus, and then you didn't just half all the Thresh. I don't get it. I think as you kind of screwed up your own draft priority. Your red side drafts have been pretty bad this series. Overall, I think SBTC though have put together a pretty comfortable composition. They have at least a way of getting through the baby cage. They have good pick potential in terms of skirmishing away from the Vega. I think they've come out pretty happy, but Luxury, they do have very strong scaling, and Hecarim can be a menace as well.
Well, there is scaling. Both games so far this series have been incredible. Well, okay, game 1 was very close. Game 2 wasn't close, but it took SBTC a long time to end the game. So here for game 3, the final game, no matter which way it goes. What are your predictions on who wins? Quincy, I'll let you go first.
I'd go with Luxury, but not because of the draft, mostly because of just the individual differences. We could see maybe SBTC, if they play a clean early game, just roll over it with Camille still beating the Jax, the Vex getting resets, the Lee Sin being strong and being into the face of the enemy team, Aphelios getting the priority early. But I think SBTC not clean enough for that, so Luxury wins.
Marby?
I think Hecarim will make life a bit too difficult for SBTC, so Luxury win.
Well, both of our analysts are on the side of a Luxury, and you guys know what that means. Carrix, Yulwei, take us in for game 3.
Your way. Did you expect to be getting a game 3 here in this series, particularly after how fantastic our first 2 have been? Well, this is an exciting one. It's hard to call.
I'd say after the first game, I kind of expected / anticipated a third game, but coming into today, of course, I was not expecting SBTC to put up such a huge fight. Now, I feel like the last game was definitely a lot of draft div as well, so not quite sure if SBTC is really on the same level as Luxury, and this game is probably the time for them to show that they are actually competitive with one of the better teams, or expected to be better teams, on a more even draft. So let's see what SBTC can do. The Veigar, once again, very high priority, and now the Vex coming in. I always like to see Vex. We haven't actually seen that much Vex, considering she's a new champion, so it's not quite the Zeri level of new champion dominating everything. So I think Vex has actually landed in the game as just a normal pick now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vex came out during the off-season, so her one obligatory patch of completely disgusting OP-ness was when there was no games on. So we didn't get much of it. As Coded and Enpa have a bit of a trade back and forth early on. I'm happy to see Coded going to the Jax as a champion he's famous for, your way.
Yeah, the easiest prediction of all time. You see Camille on one side and Coded still having the Jax available on the other. That's going to be a Jax 100% of the time. He is an insanely good Jax player. His laning phase is strong. His team fighting is great. I think he is especially good in the laning phase. He actually got solo kills against Prime Kiaya, for example, when Kiaya was playing into him a few splits ago. So, really scared of the Jax, and the top lane can run away with the game. He is facing an Ignite Emperor Camille, so usually you'd look at the summoners and say, okay, this Jax can't really go for too many kills, because, he just doesn't have the same amount of damage from his summoner spells. Okay, Palette.
Oh, H3 in a lot of trouble as he dives into the water, flashing forward. Oh my god, so many flashes being used. But it's SE winning out on everything. Celebrity hasn't pressed a summoner spell. Up on the top side, SE are still winning. Oh, never mind, Coded has to get away, but does use his flash.
SBTC winning everywhere. That's a flash from Coded now. Emperor really with a huge advantage in the game, in the lane. Also with a nice position of, Killer Queen. He wants the table scraps.
In comes the horse, and they get a kill.
Kill goes over to Shine. Killer Queen is fuming. He even used the summoner spell to get this kill, and Shine just stealing it away. But in the end, this equalizes some of the early advantage. Yeah, it's just Palette with a good flay, and not much else to say. I mean, that was very ambitious from Shine to think he had the damage to kill the 250 HP. Yeah, close, but I don't think actually close enough to flash for it, but in the end he gets a kill anyway. Now the bot lane matchup is super volatile, no one has flashes. Whoever gets a good engage is just gonna get the kill there, and we already saw that these two tanky supports are not tanky enough to actually withstand a full engage. So I'm excited for the next few minutes in the bot lane. There should be a huge amount of opportunities from either side, really, because Thresh can engage, but he's also very squishy himself, so if he gets engaged on, if he doesn't sidestep the dive from H3, then he can die as well. Speaking of dying, Coated has no flash.
Coated? That was incredibly bold. He needs to show a little bit more respect to this Camille, I think. He's got his Counter-Strike up now, so I don't think any hookshot engages are going to come in, but just offered himself up for a lot of damage.
Quite surprised Emperor didn't press forward, but I guess the minion wave was quite dangerous and very big. So if Emperor, and also Killer Queen actually on the top side, didn't look at the map for a second, but Killer Queen is here to cover Coated's push. Very nicely done. Killer Queen also stealing away one camp, so he's just farming away one assist to his name already, but Luxury struggling in the early game, like in game 2. They're not supposed to do that. Luxury is supposed to be one of the best early game teams in the league, so they've really lost some steam in the last week.
Encoded with no teleport, this is going to be a very good wave position for Enpar. And we've got Spot paying a visit to the bottom side, forcing the Luxury bot lane right back. It's a tower plate to Unofficial's.
Sorry, I had to check something really quick. My apologies. Spot on using the bot pressure to translate that into an early dragon lead. And that's 5-minute dragon, or 6-minute dragon, I guess. Which means this dragon is not going to interfere with the rotation towards Rifthold at all, so it's basically a free dragon. You don't have to trade anything on the other side, opening up a real big early game lead. But Lasers is here.
There's a flash, there's a baby cage. He is level 6. Can he actually get the primordial burst? Yes, he can, but the shadow surge and the darkness comes forward. We have a little bit of a freeze, but this already looks like it's going very well for SE.
Spot against Killer Queen.
Did someone die?
Oh, Palette!
Okay.
Nice.
Did I die? What happened? Hello?
I'm still seeing the game. I think the output is still there as well, so it's probably your side. But what a good collapse from SPTC. Overzealous from Blazes. He saw his opportunity, and yes, he had the burst to kill Celebrity, but it's not enough. When the enemy mid laner can join this quickly, you can't really overextend that heavily into the enemy, into the river. Now it's a 5-2 kill lead, a 2k gold lead for SPTC, and I have to ask the question, what is happening to Luxury today?
It's a good question. Let's see how this one starts out. It starts off with Blazers. And I missed the back half of this fight because apparently all of Australia just went offline.
Oh no. But yeah, 2T, he just gets the freeway into the back line, doesn't get the kill because Palette steals away a little bit dirty there, and 2T not focusing on H3, almost cost Palette his life, apologies for that, and Palette playing a really good Thresh game. 2T gets another one, it's a 2-0 lead for 2T on that side. On the other side, Spot was even able to kill Killer Queen, chase him down for an additional kill. It's control everywhere. The only lane not hugely ahead right now is the top lane, as we have another engage in the bot lane. Celebrity's looking for the pink gun.
Does well at first. We are having some internet issues. Both Australians currently DCing intermittently, so not sure what's going on there because we don't live together anymore. We are in very different places. We'll have to work through it, but if I'm not talking your way, you're going to have to cover for me.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what's going on, but at least the stream should be fine. Please tell me if it's not, but I think it is. Okay
I think it's
right
on
now.
I think it's on Australia's end.
That makes more sense. So we have the Rifthold coming up, and I talked about the Rifthold being relatively free to contest for SPTC, even though they got the first dragon. So that's the perfect situation. They're all also very far ahead right now in items and levels and everything. So this should really be their objective, and this should also be a free coated kill.
It definitely should be. Gets the boot. What? Where's the Q?
Yeah.
Did he get a minion?
I'm not entirely sure. I also think you don't ever
Why kick
him away when he has flash available. That's such an easy opportunity to just extend the range of the kick to flash away. So, not the greatest decision there by Spot. Should still result in an objective, but we see the Vigus moving. He's fast. Can he do anything?
Very quick. He's up there. I think he's just going to try and catch the farm here, prevent tower
That's
plates
fair
being
enough.
taken. But that's just a ridiculous mistake there by Spot. That's just not good. Oh, but you know what's an even bigger mistake? Getting hit by a hook.
Wow, they're getting wrecked in this bot lane.
Oh, both of them are dead too.
Yep, they are. And they gave this spot lane for free. It was so easy to see. And the analysts talked about the Thresh ban. And I've no idea whether... Okay, hello, Killer Queen.
Yeah, in he
Celebrity.
comes, does it well. Somebody uses the cleanse but can't do enough. And the horse will pick up a kill.
Oh, Celebrity's flash was not good. He needed to flash a different direction. He actually flashed to exactly the spot where the ultimate was going to come into. But yeah, this was a last pick Thresh. And this is unheard of. A last pick Thresh does not exist in League right now. You would never get last pick Thresh. So there was some plan to give up the Thresh Aphelios lane. We really have to watch this flash again, I guess. Yikes. Oh. Yeah, not the greatest. In the end, he walks away with 2 kills. He can definitely laugh about his own mistake there.
He's in a lot of trouble. There's a Lee Sin Q on him. That time Spot doesn't screw it up.
Man, they're getting wrecked. SPDC getting better and better every single game. They're scaling through VCS, and if the scaling is going on this pace, I think Gum needs to be scared next week. Don't even know if they play each other, but SPDC looking
I'm not sure.
so strong
they
today.
Need to keep in mind because Coded's is in a lot of trouble as well. Does pop that Grandmaster's Might, so libs for now, but Enper's dominating this matchup.
Yeah, that's very surprising. To be fair, there's been quite a bit of jungle attention onto Coded blowing his flash early. Yeah, and that's just Vex getting the jump on Blazes. Blazes' cage will not persist forever, and so Spots just calmly looks at him, waits out the cage duration, gets the easy kill execution set up by 2T, another player we have to talk about because he didn't really get much playtime behind Kati on Gum, which was to be expected, right? We had some fans actually bringing up 2T's name and talking about him, but in the end he only played 1 series, I believe. But now on the new team, he's the starter and he's given time to actually show his performance, and I have to say I'm very impressed with this mid laner. Usually new mid laners in the VCS don't land. Mid lane a very weak position in general in our league, but 2T, I think he's definitely helping the average mid lane performance.
I completely agree. He's looking great, and now this beleaguered bot lane from Luxury are in even more trouble as Spots arrive. There's a Q into a Q. Ooh, they do miss the Aphelios ult, and Spot's quite far behind, but it doesn't really matter as they've already picked up one. They'll add a catfish to the collection. Celebrity, can he get away from this Vega? All the Primordial Burst will just about be enough. Now Blazers has to play it well as the rest of the team is arriving, including the Vex, who'll get the first kill. Now has the reset, but Shadow just about misses. And Killer Queen at the moment looks like he's just running around as the corpse man picking up his team's bodies.
And every single play around the bot lane is a losing play for Luxury. Yes, they're trying to save their bot lane. Yes, they're trying to bail them out of the hole they dug themselves with this 2v2 and in draft already, but it's just not working. Every time you try to commit another member, the enemy team can react, and we see very good reaction from SPTC. The enemy mid laner, who's the only strong point, had to invest his flash, which makes him vulnerable, then he dies instantly, and this is just a 2v2 at the start. They already die super fast. Like, Spot wasn't even in range to deal damage, and the enemy ADC is already dead. And then Blazes has to commit everything to even get just 1 kill, which is a traded kill, because he then, of course, has overextended dice as well. Killer Queen is completely useless on this champion. Yeah, what can you say? It's just SPTC dominance on the bot side of the map, and their bot lane especially showing up huge.
For sure, Celebrity is looking fantastic and Palette is looking revitalized. We have to put away the dishwasher memes of this man. And hey, TSM, you're having troubles. Maybe you should reopen your interest.
Actually, troubles in the support position, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you can get another player that doesn't speak English.
Good meme, Carrix. Good meme. But yeah, look at the scoreboard right now. I can't believe my eyes. Like, I checked stats, and yeah, stats are always... We are early in the season. Stats are always a little bit facetious. But look at this gold lead for SPTC. It's a 6k gold lead almost at 14 minutes, and this will grow just in a few seconds.
Yeah, Coded has been hooked. He's been taken down, and frankly, this isn't close. SE are just hard dominating.
Yeah, and Luxury, we have seen them sometimes fall apart. Luxury is not the most stable of teams. They're very hit or miss. They're very prone to tilting. We remember in Winter Split when we had some of the members even in our Discord coming out and saying it's total mental boom right now. We can't even play the game. Kind of looks like that again, unfortunately. We want this team to be one of the better teams, but I think they're still a little bit too volatile to really enter the discussion for maybe even title contention. And these are the series they need to get better. And to be fair to them, SPTC is putting in an amazing performance.
Stop bullying them. Spot sees 3, doesn't even care, has a ward to jump to, now has a Hecarim bearing down on him, but with a flash, just gets out of there.
Well, yeah, playing with his food a little bit. Maybe the flash wasn't necessary. But in the end, it's a kill over to Luxury. It's not even the shutdown because it's the one member without the shutdown on them, which is Enper. Enper just cruising in this game, not really playing well. It's a top lane kind of game where the top laners are 0-1 and 0-1 and 1. The rest of the map is falling apart. We need the fighting game. We really need the fighting game to actually have something to do for these top laners. Because they are not going to participate in this game in maybe in 20 minutes. But I think by that time the game is probably over. We have another dragon spawning in 50 seconds. That's already dragon number 3, so the stacking started insanely early in this game. And I can't see a way how Luxury can contest this one. So everything has to be invested for the 4th dragon, I suppose.
I guess, but it's a long, long way to go. They do have 2 strong scalers in the Jax and the Vega, but I mean, if that becomes relevant, then it's a true fumble by SE.
Yeah, they are putting a lot of manpower onto the top side. It's dangerous. They're looking for some sort of pick, but H3 is really not the greatest support to start a fight on the Tahm Kench. Much more defensive than actually being able to initiate like a Leona, like Nautilus. They bent away those champions, so Spot is
They do have
chilling.
a catch, though, onto Spot. A lot of CC is laid in, but look at the damage he does before he dies, which he does do. H3 will go down on the other side. He'll give it over to the Thresh, though. That's a very positive trade there for Luxury.
But think about this. They invested so much, and the SPTC was basically caught off guard, maybe a little bit over-aggressive, and they still were able to just chain 2 or 3 spells together and easily get a counter kill. So the difference in investment for just 1 kill is... You can't even... There's just no way they can get into an even game state again. That's a free dragon picked up, even though you picked the jungler. So the one hope you had picking the jungler is, okay, we can walk to dragon and actually secure this objective, stop the dragon snowball. Nope, you're so far behind in all the lanes and got so much chip damage on you that the enemy ADC can just walk to the dragon and take it for free. The game is in total disarray for Luxury, and once again, I don't really see any ways for them to come back into the game. Everything has to come together for them in 4.5 minutes when the 4th dragon spawns. If they wipe the floor somehow, some internet connection dies for SPTC or something, and they can win a team fight.
Intervention.
Yeah, they need that divine intervention for sure.
Well, they are going to try and get a catch here, but Celebrity has cleanse. He'll be okay. Spot? They don't know he's there.
And Coded is dead.
And Coded's in a lot of trouble. He does not have access to counter. He burnt his flash as well. Oh, disaster. But they are going to try and turn around onto Spot. This should be a kill picked up for Blazers.
Blazers is trying so hard. He's very angry with the rest of his teammates because he finally got to play this broken champion, at least in our meta here. No one gets to play Veigar. Finally, Blazers are able to first pick it, and he's putting in so much work. Maybe a little bit over-aggressive from time to time, flashing for almost every opportunity, but he is the one shining light, the one hope they have, and Veigar in the late game, he can always come up, cook something up, come up with something incredible.
Coated.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted by that.
That TP sucked.
That is filth, mate. Not good enough.
Yeah, and think about this. If he was actually able to join the fray there, maybe they can start a comeback. They can mount the long way to a more even game state. Now it's just another kill. Traded over for free to Emperor. He even burned his flesh after already squandering his other summoned spell there. Code is really not stepping up to the plate today. And Emperor might just be able to kill him again. Because what can you do against him?
Not much. Call in a teleport of his own, call in a Kench as well, but SE has plenty of numbers coming on in 2T.
Oh, 2T.
He's going in onto Blazers. That's a really big one. He's dodging everything that this Veigar's putting out as well. Not sure if he'll quite get the reset. Blazers has managed to buy a hell of a lot of time. He doesn't, but it doesn't matter because they pick up 2 kills for nothing.
And honestly, every single play for Luxury is a Hail Mary at this point. It's kind of respectable. They're so far behind. They themselves don't see a way back into the game. It looks horrible. Very good reaction from SPTC. This is one of the things you need to be prepared for. If you're this far ahead, you also need to be able to actually put the finishing touches on the game. That looked fancy.
It did, and Celebrity whips forward with the Gale Force and kills himself a horse.
And this is domination everywhere. Luxury is known to, I already said they're known to tilt. They're also known to not hold back anything when they're behind. They're not known to scale up. Their mid games when they're behind are very quick, or their games in general are just over very, very quickly. And I think they're still falling into that trend. You can fault them somewhat for this one, especially with their composition. If you look at the Veigar composition, the Hecarim composition, I think you should always be in the mindset of maybe the enemy team overextends, maybe we actually get a way back into the game. We shouldn't throw everything away, but if you look at the play, they are just throwing everything away. And look at 2T here. It's beautiful. He's dancing around the edges. Blazes hasn't even hit him once with any spell. Just perfect execution from 2T there, immediately putting pressure on Blazes with his ultimate, chunking him to half HP, so Blazes has to walk away. He's the strongest member, remember, so he can't impact the fight. And this is just wallet diff. This is not supposed to happen.
It's not. He Gale Forces the horse here. You'd hate to see it. As he burns him down and then gets a big crit, easy peasy. In the live play, we do see that Emperor has just killed Coded. And your way, without looking, what support is H3 playing? Have you seen him this game?
Good question. Something that's inting.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing Tom Kench. Have you seen him do anything? He's been invisible.
I mean, unfortunately not for his team. Invisible would be better. Yeah, Invisible would be better than what he did in the laning phase. It all started with a 1-2v2 in the second bush, as we see this very boring top lane 1v1. There's absolutely nothing Kota can do. He even has to fend off against the super minions. They're going to add quite a lot of damage. Question mark? Swiftly.
We all saw it.
We're just going to ignore that one. As Emperor, everyone on SPTC stepping up, and it's an interesting team to follow. Of course, this is just one series. We always have to hold our horses and just think about what's going to mean for the rest of the split. But already looking better than 8 or 9 series. This is why he just had another.
Oh, that's why. It was just a reason.
That's fair. And we see him kill 2 people at the same time because of the play in picture-in-picture. Beautiful. 2T's Vex. Looking like Karti's Vex here, so he definitely learned something as the understudy of the Gum mid laner. And honestly, if you look at Gum games so far, maybe 2T was the better choice.
Maybe. As SA will start up this Baron, unsurprising.
By the way, they just got an Infernal Soul.
And they got Infernal Soul as well. Hey, Luxury, you want to save us some time? Type a few magical little letters into chat.
And to be honest, their gameplay has been kind of that. Just
yeah, true.
They're not allowed to actually do it with their keyboards, but they are allowed to direct their mouses towards the enemy turrets and just die. So, it's a 12k gold lead. It's a Baron. It's an Infernal Soul at 23 minutes. So, I'd say Tutti can probably one-shot 2 people at once if he hits a nice ultimate, so that's something I'm looking out for. Vex one-shots are quite cool to see, because we haven't actually seen that much Vex. So let's see. Shine, be careful. The shadow is already looking at you.
It certainly is. As another tower falls, Enper shoving in the mid wave as well. Coded having a little bit of a split down on the bottom side, but he is going to TP in. This should be the last chance saloon here for Luxury. H3 getting chunked out immediately. Coded will be sent to the stables. And now the base will break. They move into this top side. I don't think SE are interested in playing a long game.
And SE still, even though they're this far ahead, they're actually playing very disciplined. So not something you'd expect from this kind of team. They really do not like a team that went 0-2 in the first week and looked horrible. So we all have to adjust our judgment on this team. I think they are quite a different team. And after seeing some performances of the other teams, SPTC, in my opinion, just from today's series, it's an overreaction of course, but still, they actually look like a players team.
Yeah. Playoffs, sure. I don't even disagree. We've seen a few different permutations of the SE team, and I think this 5, I mean, proof is in the pudding. This is the best 5 you've got. If they play these teams, playoffs should be a cakewalk.
Yeah, they have a very solid backup ADC as Celebrity. His role, his best role, or his best look has always been where he was not the main carry of the team, but maybe the main damage dealer, but not the one making stuff happen. He's just there to provide consistent, good AD carry play. Strong laning in this case as well, together with his new partner in crime, Palat. Wow, it's Cho'Gath ults left, right, and center from Enper again.
Oh, Cho'Gath wishes he could do that.
It's true.
It might be meta. As Spot jumps on in once again. H3, another bag of gold given over the enemy team. I know it was just a minion, but it looked on my screen like he was worth 40 gold, which is kind of appropriate, honestly, for how he's been playing. An absolute shocker from the Luxury bot lane. Not happy with who they brought in. Not happy with how they've played it. Killer Queen, what are you doing? Okay, Luxury. Luxury, make it a little bit less obvious. I know you want to get out of here just as much as we do. They do pick up a kill, though, but now their Nexus is undefended. Killer Queen will be the one to go down. Ooh. Coded and Blaze is unable to do anything as the Jhin will fall as well. And this is a dominant Game 3 out of SE. We had 2 absolute bangers, and then we had a slaughter.
It's redemption for so many of the members, it's redemption for the whole team, but Spot finally winning his first series in 2022 in VCSA, so he's finally arrived. We don't talk about the first 2 series they played, because now SPTC is here to play. Enper looked amazing, Tutti looked out of this world, honestly, on most of the champions he played, especially the Vex in this game. And then the bot lane, completely dominating. A bot lane that's supposed to be established. Yes, Shine and H3 are not the main bot lane, but there were reasons for them to start today, right? So, wow, just floored, honestly, by this performance from SPTC, and the VCS is getting more and more interesting with every single series.
That it is, and we are going to give it straight over to our analyst to break it down. Take it away, Milky, Marby, and Quincy.
Muted.
I ruined it, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again because it was a cool intro, so we're doing it. Right, I know I can't get the phase in, but we critiqued Palette. We said he was a god who had fallen, but he showed up today. We asked the question about 2T. What could he do? Well, he had fun with Blazes. We questioned Spot. We said DNK was better than him, and he just beat the arguably best jungler in the league alongside Levi. We critiqued Vinboys. We were probably right on that one. We also talked bad about Enper, and he took his trousers down and he took a massive dump all over Coated. My God, SBTC looked good, Quincy.
They certainly did, and I'm kind of clowning my post-draft prediction with that, because I was just, being like, both drafts have their positive sides, right? It's Luxury likely better scaling, but they could just get one over. I don't think SPTC is good enough, and they kind of were good enough, and Luxury was really not showing up in Game 3 at all. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know why this bot lane. I mean, I initially said this bot lane should keep playing because they definitely were able to win games with them. But there must be some reason why Bit and CBL aren't playing, and I really am grasping at reasons why that could possibly be the case.
They're part of the conspiracy with LS.
Maybe.
Yeah.
LS
They went to
luxury
church.
sprinting.
I thought the hacker room would be more of a problem for the backline of, well, really for Celebrity, I guess, because the backline is kind of only Celebrity. It didn't matter because Tutti got fed off his rocker and just was one-shotting people, landing those ultimates, which is kind of all of Vex once the game progresses past a certain point. Because if you don't land that you can't really impact a fight as effectively. But it didn't matter. Just landing all of them, or pretty much most of them as needed, worked out very well.
Now, I'm kind of rewinding back to when we had the Good Morning Vietnam podcast, which was a few days ago. And for my 10, I said SBTC, or my 90 SBTC get demoted, or they finish last. I'm really regretting that. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to get Quincy and Marby your thoughts on SBTC right now, because for me, we talked about how the VCS was no longer a team that had like no mid teams, right? We felt that we had loads of mid teams. Now I feel like there is no bottom team. It's GAM and now everyone else.
Certainly so, and I'm happy to be wrong about what I said initially, that SBTC wouldn't really stand a chance here. I mean, this was not them just beating the Burst of Sky we saw in Big One that looked awful on their own terms, or them beating Team Flash before they really found their gear. It was them beating Luxury, a team we expected to be one of the dogs, at least behind GAM, to really have at least some way to challenge them for the title, or at least like be a team we expect to be almost certainly in the playoff booth. And now they just bet those guys, and that is definitely one hell of a statement for a team we beforehand expected to maybe go win this year.
Yeah, I think overall the league's kind of leveled up, especially outside of the GAM area, because we saw Cerberus with their with Poss and Jane coming in and playing and winning a game pretty much entirely through split push pressure and through that side lane macro, and that was absolutely insane. And we started to see fairly good macro and good map rotations coming out from SBTC, who we would have projected to be, who we did project to be dog shit. So
Yeah.
micro and mechanics has never been an issue, but now we've actually seen teams step up and learn how to play the game outside of click buttons, which is really good. I'm finally happy.
I feel like an appropriate way to end this, obviously the VCS is not done yet. We've got another series coming up, Team Secret taking on Saigon Buffalo, is that maybe the secret for SBTC wasn't trying to build a super team. Maybe it was trying to find the washed veterans and picking up the rookies that no one expected to do well.
The
We'll
Rust
see what
Tigers approach.
I'm really excited to see what SBTC have over the remainder of the split, but we are going to push to a break, and when we do return, we will be having our second series of the day as Team Secret take on Saigon Buffalo. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back shortly.